Chapter 3181. The 15 Huakuan Dan that Chen Shang had refined were all fresh out of the furnace. Any alchemist could tell that with a single glance, let alone the fact that these Huakuan Dan all had their own unique auras. This kind of qi was unique to the ingredients used in Heavenly Dan Mountain Villa. All of the medicines in Heavenly Dan Mountain Villa had this special qi. This qi was closely related to the time when the ingredients were being planted, so it was very easy to discern. Therefore, there was no possibility of cheating. That was to say, Chen Shang was really able to refine 15 Huakuan Dan in one furnace. Although he had used 2 sets of ingredients, it was still very terrifying. Even the fierce transformation Dan spirit who made Heavenly Dan Landlord feel so proud only managed to refine 7 pills. This is real. How in the world did you refine it? Has the derivation method been unleashed to the limit? Quote. Old you, is your derivation spell incomplete? This human kid's control over derivation seems to be better than yours. I don't know either. Yu Yiren shook his head in the face of everyone's doubts. Chen Shang laughed. I have already won, what about the rewards? Everyone suddenly recalled that getting first place would allow one to obtain a pill spirit. That was a very precious reward, and yet it was actually given to a human. Many of the old alchemists who were watching the show were gloating at the side. Previously, Heavenly Dan Landlord had flaunted his skills in front of them, but now that he had failed secretly, they were extremely pleased. Human brat, you can rest assured. Heavenly Dan Landlord is a righteous and sincere person and you will keep your word. That's right, the Heavenly Dan Landlord places a lot of importance on talented people. Even if you are a human, your current level is enough to make us old fellows admit defeat. Heavenly Dan Landlord, give the pill spirit to him. You can still refine it yourself. Yeah, you don't lack a pill spirit, do you? Don't tell me you want to go back on your word. It doesn't matter if you go back on your word. No one will say anything. After all, a pill spirit is very precious. It's within reason that you don't want to do it. Heavenly Dan Landlord, you are so powerful, we will definitely not speak ill of you on the surface. At most, we will only look down on you in our hearts. These old guys jeered at him from the side. When Yu Yiren saw them, his heart blossomed with joy. At this moment, Heavenly Dan Landlord's face had turned a little green. He was so confident that his fierce transformation Dan spirit would be victorious that he would take out this reward. Who knew that this heaven-defying guy, Chen Shang, would actually refine 15 pills in one go? Here, Heavenly Dan Landlord glared furiously at Chen Shang, and then passed the pill spirit to Chen Shang. Heavenly Dan Landlord snorted angrily, then left with his fierce transformation Dan spirit. After they left, the Yu clan immediately rushed over and surrounded Chen Shang and Yu Yiren. Yu Yan, what are you doing? Yu Yiren's face was cold as he asked. Yu Yiren, you are a member of the Yu clan, your shop is the Yu clan's shop, this brat is the alchemist of the Yu clan's shop, the rewards you obtained from coming here to participate in the competition are also the Yu clan's. Yu Yan said without a hint of hesitation. Previously, they were worried that Chen Shang representing the Yu clan in the competition would cause the Yu clan to lose face, and had even continuously tried to cut off their relationship with Chen Shang, ridiculing him everywhere, telling everyone that the Yu clan also looked down on this human kid. However, now that Chen Shang had displayed such talent and even obtained a pill spirit, their Yu clan was extremely envious. Furthermore, they thought that Chen Shang was just a member of the Yu clan who wanted to obtain such a strong pill spirit. Do you all have any shame? Yu Yiren said angrily, all of you have a layer of skin on your faces. Do you want me to help you all take it off? Yu Yiren, if you don't give it to us, don't blame us for using our family's law on you. This pill spirit belongs to our Yu family. Following which, he and the few elders from the Yu clan took out an array disc. Everyone could see what the array discs in their hands were used for, as they were used to trap Yu Yiren and Chen Shang. Although this was the Heavenly Dan Mountain Villa, the Heavenly Dan Landlord did not care about this matter. This was very satisfying to him as Chen Shang had obtained his pill spirit, and if the Yu clan were to snatch it away from him, he would more or less feel better. The most angry one was Chen Shang. Previously, the members of Yu clan were in a rush to get rid of their relationship with him, but now that they were trying to get rid of their relationship with him, they mocked and ridiculed him. Now that he had won, he dared to shamelessly claim that this pill spirit belonged to them. What if I refuse? Chen Shang had already kept the pill spirit, and said coldly. If you don't, you will die. After Yu Yan finished speaking, the formation plate in his hand flashed with a red light. The other few elders also shot out their formation plates, enveloping the entire stage. In the air above the stage, there were 2 array discs. One of them was above Yu Yiren's head, because the other was above Chen Shang. Yu Yiren roared in fury, and the berserk world-defying stage fierce power on his body was suddenly released, causing the earth to suddenly shake. But that was only it, as Yu Yiren was already trapped. Even Yu Yiren couldn't escape, let alone Chen Shang. Yu Wei Gang, go ahead and let this human brat give you his pill spirit. If he doesn't give it to you, I will kill Yu Yiren. Yu Yan walked in front of Yu Yiren. Yu Yiren was enveloped by a red light and was unable to come out. Yu Yan took out a sword, pointed it at Yu Yiren and said coldly, in any case, you don't have any contributions to our Yu clan, so there's no point in killing you. Yu Yan had already planned to break all ties with Yu Yiren. If he could get a pill spirit like this, it would be worth it even if he could kill Yu Yiren. Yu Wei was the young alchemist of the Yu family and could be considered a genius. Just now, when he was refining pills, he was able to refine 3 Huakuan Dan, and they were all of good quality. More importantly, Yu Weigang was a young disciple who was preparing to step into the world-defying crazy realm. As long as he could step into it, he would be the strongest warrior in the Yu clan. Trash, quickly hand over the pill spirit. Yu Wei was extremely satisfied at this moment, because a genius alchemist was already controlled and could be stepped on by him. When Yu Wei saw Chen Shang glaring at him with a gaze filled with hatred, he immediately became furious. He punched towards Chen Shang from afar. The power of his punch was like a beast pouncing on its prey, striking Chen Zhang's body. Bang! Chen Shang was struck by a burst of energy, causing him to feel pain all over, but it was not a big deal, his body was still extremely strong. Even though this fist did not hit Chen Shang, it had thoroughly enraged him. Chapter 3182. Chen Shang glared at Yu Wei Gang. Although the man in front of him looked pretty handsome, he was extremely ugly in his heart. His expression was twisted by the negative emotions in his heart. The updates were quick. I never had any connections with your Yu clan and have never offended any of you before. However, because of greed, I wanted to seize what I deserved. I have always treated you guys like ugly and dirty wild wolves. Chen Shang said coldly, and when this type of wild wolf attacks me, I will not show any mercy. Haha, despite being trapped by us, you still dare to say such words. Do you really think that you are incredible just because you can concoct pills? Being able to refine pills is nothing. Only when one's fist is strong enough can it be considered strong. Yu Weigang laughed loudly. You're right, you have to have a tough fist to forge pills. You can only counterattack when you encounter a wild wolf. Do you see how hard my fist is? With that, Chen Shang disappeared. When they saw Chen Shang appear, they had already felt a majestic aura surge out. Chen Zhang's fist had already smashed into Yu Weigang's nose, and his entire fist had already pierced into his nose. His fist was deeply caved in, showing just how hard Chen Zhang's fist was. Die! Chen Shang roared in anger, his fist flashed with a gold light, using world-defying stage fierce power. Boom! The world-defying stage fierce power burst out from Chen Zhang's body using the heaven-shaking power and the meteor immortal power, and at the same time, it unleashed a berserk punch with a berserk force, directly shattering Yu Weigang's head. A genius of the Yu clan had been killed just like that, in front of many strong warriors of the Yu clan. Yu Yiren was also stunned. He knew that Chen Shang was an incredible pill refiner, but he never thought that Chen Zhang's fighting strength was actually so terrifying. At most, Yu Weigang was at the same cultivation level as Chen Shang, and being on the same level as him, Chen Shang was unrivaled. Killing Yu Weigang with a single punch was a piece of cake for him. Bastard! When Yu Yan saw that his own son's head had been smashed into pieces, his eyes were already red, and his claws had already reached towards Chen Shang. However, just as he thought that he could crush Chen Zhang's head, Yu Yiren suddenly appeared in front of him and grabbed his wrist. Then, a strong wave of world-defying stage fierce power was released by Yu Yiren and poured into Yu Yan's body through his arm. Yu Yiren's anger was extremely frightening. At this moment, Yu Yiren's entire person was emitting a kind of black flame. The black flames of air continued to spew out, as though countless evil spirits were wildly dancing. That violent aura made the spectators have no choice but to retreat. The consequence of angering me, Yu Yiren, is the release of the world-defying stage fierce soul from my body and the awakening of my world-defying stage fierce soul. There will be a price to pay, and the price will be your lives. Yu Yiren's cold voice was filled with hostility. The sky had already darkened and everyone had fled, but because the stage was enveloped by an array formation, none of the Yu clan members were able to leave. Previously, the few elders of the Yu clan had used a few array discs to envelop the entire sparring stage. It was not easy going in, and then used a single array disc to imprison Chen Shang and Yu Yiren. The reason why Yu Yiren was able to escape the imprisonment was because Chen Shang had used the power of space to teleport out. Anger of the madness soul. Yu Yiren roared, black figures continued to fly out of his body, and countless of black figures were jumping up and down in the competition arena. They all understood Yu Yiren very well. This kind of terrifying madness soul caused people to tremble in fear. It was just that because Yu Yiren had been immersed in the Tao of alchemy for a long time, and had not made a move for a long time, it made everyone forget about this kind of terrifying power. The dancing black figures could actually easily penetrate a person's body, and they even noticed that as long as they were pierced by a black figure, the person's world-defying stage fierce power would weaken, and there would be an additional trace of death on their face. There was only empty space around him. Although those black shadows were flying around randomly, they did not approach him. Yu Yiren, the Yu clan's bloodline flows in your body, you're killing each other. Bullshit, when you guys attacked me, how come you didn't expect me to have the Yu clan's bloodline in my body? Yu Yiren roared. He rushed forward and punched one of the old men in the eye, directly splitting his head in half. Meanwhile, the Yu clan members were all lying on the ground, half dead. Some of them were very young previously, but now they were very old, like people on the verge of death. This was all caused by his lifespan being sucked away. Chen Shang watched in a daze. The black shadow Yu Yiren released just now was too terrifying. You will die a horrible death. A person spoke to Yu Yiren while holding in his last breath. The one who will die a horrible death is you. Yu Yiren walked over and directly took out this person's world-defying mad source bead, and then, one after another, he took out the world-defying mad source beads of the other Yu clan members. This scene caused the spectating people's scalps to go numb. The world-defying mad source bead were dug out alive, and their bodies trembled just thinking about it. Yu Yiren is, after all, the #1 figure in the heaven-old super realm. It would be a wonder if he doesn't die after being treated so cruelly by these fellows. Heavenly Dan landlord shook his head and sighed. His pill spirit had been obtained by Chen Shang, how could he not have the thought of snatching it back? Seeing this scene, the thought in his mind was completely dispelled. Yu Yiren was already considered an old guy in the heaven-old super realm, and had been there before, so his strength was extremely terrifying. It was just that because he had been refining pills for so many years, many people had neglected his true strength. After getting rid of the dozen or so people from the Yu clan, Yu Yiren picked up the formation plates and controlled them to remove the seals. Then, he brought Chen Shang and left the Heavenly Dan Mountain Villa. After Yu Yiren left, the Heaven-Old Prince said to the old man beside him, Yu Yiren is still very strong, can you guarantee that you can take care of him? Definitely. If it was before, we definitely wouldn't have expected that brat to know how to use the power of space, but we have already discovered it, so we can eliminate this kind of situation. You saw it just now, Yu Yiren was restricted tightly after he was trapped by an array disc. The old man said. That's good then, we must get a pill spirit. If I can get a pill spirit, my position will be even higher in the future. Heaven-Old Prince laughed coldly. Amongst the Heaven-Old Imperial family, there were many princes and princesses, and he had failed once again in coming to the Heaven Pill Assembly. He was surpassed by Chen Shang and the fierce transformation Dan spirit. If he returned like this, he would definitely be laughed at. And now, they were confident that they could capture Chen Shang and Yu Yiren. It was worth the risk for them, and once they obtained the pill spirit, the benefits they would receive would be endless. Chapter 3183. After Chen Shang received his elixir, Yu Yiren brought him and quickly left this villa. They were well aware of the importance of a pill spirit. It was obvious that those people from the Yu clan were willing to go all out to clash with him. Boss, we're going somewhere now. Are you going back to the shop? Chen Shang asked. No, the shop is no longer a safe place to be. Yu Yiren frowned. Did you see Heaven-Old Imperial family and the others just now? I saw it. What's wrong? When Chen Shang just left, he did pay attention to it. This was because Heaven-Old Imperial family was the strongest. Previously, he was worried that the Heaven-Old Imperial family would attack them. There's something wrong with these guys. When we left, they're looking at us very wrong. Yu Yiren said, they might catch up to us. Can you use the power of space? Get away from here. Quote. No problem. Chen Shang did not know how strong the Heaven Old Imperial family was either. In short, he didn't want to be hunted down. Chen Shang had used the power of space, bringing Yu Yiren along, they teleported away. Moreover, it was continuous teleportation. Chen Shang was often hunted for many years. That was why he was very experienced in dodging. After he teleported, he would immediately be able to sense his aura. This prevents being traced. Boss, are the people from Heaven Old Imperial family very strong? Chen Shang had already brought Yu Yiren to a mountain range. He didn't know where this was either. Yu Yiren floated high up in the sky. Investigate the surrounding situation. He didn't know where Chen Shang had brought him to. Heaven Old Imperial family is the strongest power in Heaven Old Super Realm. One of them, unless the various great clans joined forces. Otherwise, no one can kill them. Yu Yiren said, even if Yu Yiren himself was very strong. But facing the Heaven Old Imperial family, he was also very afraid. Yu Yiren landed on the ground. He said to Chen Shang, this place should be temporarily safe now. We can't go back into the shop now. Quote. Isn't that manager and the others in danger? Chen Shang stayed in the shop for a while. The shopkeeper was pretty good to him. If he was implicated in this matter, he would be very sorry. Don't worry, the grocer followed me for many years. Once there was any disturbance, he'll do something himself. Yu Yiren said, look carefully at the pill spirit now. See if there's any problem. We were in too much of a hurry. Furthermore, Heavenly Dan landlords seem to be very straightforward. I very much doubt it. Quote. Chen Shang took out his pill spirit. After a careful inspection, he said, this is a real pill spirit, however, it was somewhat strange. The aura on it is very different from what I had refined myself. Quote. Chen Shang passed his pill spirit to Yu Yiren. He still had a lot of trust in Yu Yiren. After Yu Yiren received it, he only took a brief look. He then frowned, this is a pill spirit that is not bad. There was an extremely terrifying amount of Huakuan Dan's medicinal power contained within. It was indeed the spirit of the Huakuan Dan. However, this was not something that was created in a short period of time. Quote. No wonder I feel less alive. So it wasn't created during this period of time. Chen Shang finally understood why he felt it was strange. When did you refine it? At least thousands of years. Yu Yiren looked at this pill spirit carefully. Suddenly, he laughed coldly. Heavenly Dan landlord, this fellow, he himself was unable to refine a Huakuan Dan's core spirit. These elixirs have existed for many years. It was made a long time ago. Quote. Why is it like this? Chen Shang received the pill spirit. Then he carefully observed it. He did not discover anything. I don't know where he got it. Anyway, it wasn't something that he had refined himself. Or by chance. The more Yu Yiren thought about it, the angrier he got. He scolded angrily, this bastard. He actually claimed that he made it himself. He would use this to raise his prestige. And then through this, to belittle us. Truly a villain. I really can't tell. This fellow was quite handsome. He actually did such a thing. Chen Shang also understood. Yu Yiren took this matter very seriously. Because the Heavenly Dan landlord had been full of disdain towards him before. And let everyone think he was not as good as Heavenly Dan landlord. Thinking about this, Yu Yiren was even more furious now. This bastard, I'm going to kill him. Yu Yiren coldly snorted. Chen Shang looked at the pill spirit in his hand. He said, can I start refining it with my blood now? Chen Zhang's Yuyao Mountain Villa already had a pill spirit inside. However, that was the spirit of the strong strength Dan. Although it was useful, but after all, it was an initial stage primordial desolate pill. The pill spirit in his hand belonged to a middle stage Huakuan Dan. Not for now, we are not yet stable. Yu Yiren was extremely cautious. He said, I'll take you to a place now. I used to live in seclusion in that place for a while. Quote. Just as Yu Yiren made his move, a golden light shone down from the sky. A huge golden barrier of light appeared around them, enveloping them. This golden barrier covered an area of 100 miles. Chen Shang was trapped inside. It was impossible to break out of this golden barrier. You fellow from the Heaven Old Imperial family. Get the hell out here. Yu Yiren roared towards the sky. Chen Shang used his time and space power. There was actually no reaction at all. His power of space failed him. It should be useless. Those fellows have seen you use the power of space before. Therefore, this time, they will definitely have a way to deal with it. Yu Yiren looked around, looking for people from the heaven-old imperial family. Soon, a few beams of golden light shot down from the sky. 5 gold-armored old men appeared. Their serious faces were filled with murderous intent. That strong killing intent, it caused Chen Zhang's heart to thump wildly. These golden-armored old men were all terrifyingly powerful. Moreover, he was a war maniac who had been on the battlefield for a long time. A young man dressed in luxurious golden clothes slowly walked over. There was a disdainful smile on his face as he said, "You guys ran quite fast. What a pity, still can't escape my palm." Quote. He was Heaven Old Prince. How did you find this place? Yu Yiren also felt that this was unbelievable. The people of the Heaven Old Imperial family actually managed to find this place. It's just that you guys are underestimating our Heaven Old Imperial family. Heaven Old Prince did not tell Chen Shang and the others. He looked at Chen Shang. With a cold expression, he said, "Human. Hurry up and give me the pill spirit. I can let you leave safely." Quote. Nope. Chen Shang also coldly said, "Why should I give it to you? What qualifications do you have to have this pill spirit? I'd rather destroy it than give it to you." Quote. How dare you? Teach him a lesson. Heaven Old Prince was immediately enraged. Actually, Heaven Old Prince's inherent skill is quite good. If it weren't for Chen Shang and Fierce Transformation Dan Spirit, these two monsters who were suppressing him. He's the best. Heaven Old Prince felt that being defeated by Fierce Transformation Dan Spirit was nothing much. But he was left far behind by a human. It made him very jealous. Now, he not only wanted to obtain the core spirit in Chen Zhang's hands, and he even had to ravage Chen Shang. To make him feel comfortable. Chapter 3184. After Heaven Old Prince gave the order, the 5 golden-armored elderly men immediately attacked Chen Shang without hesitation. Yu Yiren's body also started to tremble as countless shadows emerged. This was the power of his madness soul, a bizarre profound energy that could devour another person's life force and strength. The interior of the golden light barrier turned dark, and there were shadows everywhere. The black shadow lashed out at the golden-armored elders like a wave, preventing them from acting rashly. Meanwhile, Chen Shang had also run off to the side. Yu Yiren was very strong. Although it looked like the golden-armored elderly men were much stronger than him, but after he used the power of the madness soul, he actually had the ability to suppress his opponent. Chen Shang had already run to the side, while Heaven Old Prince chased after him. Don't think that just because you can kill a genius disciple from the Yu clan, I can easily kill that guy from the Yu clan. Heaven Old Prince took out a spear. The spear head was a gold color and it flashed with gold lightning. After he changed into the long spear, he fiercely thrusted towards Chen Shang, directly towards Chen Zhang's heart, but he was actually grabbed by Chen Shang with his bare hands. Chen Shang had gone through cultivation without a right path before, his flesh was extremely strong. Clenching the long spear that was flowing with the vigorous world-defying stage fierce power tightly, he only felt some pain. I can kill the Yu clan's people, but I can also kill you. After Chen Shang caught hold of the spear, he fiercely pulled, and directly snatched the spear away, while Heaven Old Prince was also dragged over. After the Heaven Old Prince was dragged over, Chen Shang immediately lashed out with a black whip. This black whip was refined from the myriad Tao divine soil and had a very terrifying binding force, trapping the Heaven Old Prince within. The moment the Heaven Old Prince was entangled, his body suddenly shone with a golden light. He wanted to struggle free, but a 6 realms mirrors had already appeared above him. The 6 realms mirrors' mirror surface released a red light, enveloping Heaven Old Prince within and preventing him from leaving the red light barrier. This was the formation plate used by the Yu clan to trap Yu Yiren previously. At that time, Chen Shang had already used his 6 realms mirrors to quietly duplicate it. When the Heaven Old Prince was enveloped by the formation, he was immediately shocked and anxiously shouted, "Golden Armored Guard, quickly come and help me. Help your grandpa, I wish you reincarnate into a dog in your next life." Chen Shang laughed. The 6 realms mirrors had already pierced through Heaven Old Prince's heart, and directly went through it, following that Chen Shang immediately took out the world-defying mad soar speed. However, the black shadow Yu Yiren released was too strange. Once it enveloped them, they became as immobile as if they were in water. Moreover, they would roll around with the waves of the water. The black shadow that Yu Yiren released did not have any offensive power, but it was able to trap those few extremely powerful golden-armored divine guards. Chen Shang, hurry up and destroy the array disc above. I can't hold on for much longer, I'm not their match, I can only temporarily stall them. Yu Yiren sent a sound transmission to Chen Shang. I got it, I'm going up now. Chen Shang immediately soared up and quickly saw a small formation plate that was only the size of his palm. After seeing the array disc, Chen Shang immediately took out the heavenly magic sword and pierced the sword. That formation plate was not made by the myriad Dao divine soil. Chen Shang could easily pierce through it and destroy the formation that trapped them. After the golden barrier of light disappeared, Chen Shang immediately ran back to him. Yu Yiren said to Chen Shang via sound transmission, use your spatial power and flee far away. Chen Shang brought Yu Yiren and quickly teleported away. I wonder how they caught up to us. After Chen Shang teleported a distance with Yu Yiren, he asked in confusion. There are many strange things happening in the Heaven Old Imperial family, they must have some sort of plan, so we cannot let our guard down. Yu Yiren said, right now, I will bring you to a safe place. Yu Yiren took out a flying discs and quickly flew away with Chen Shang. After 3 days and 3 nights, Chen Shang could only see a dense gray fog in front of him. A large area in front of him was covered by this gray fog. What is this place? Chen Shang only saw it from afar and he already felt extremely pressured. He did not understand why Yu Yiren brought him to this kind of dangerous place. The Tiangu beast is sealed inside. Yu Yiren said, it's inside that black fog, but once you go in, it's very difficult for you to come out. Then we are going in now. How do I get out of here in the future? Chen Shang did not want to enter, although he knew Song Yichen and Zheng Profound, he might not be able to meet them inside. Furthermore, there were many powerful Tiangu beasts inside, which was very dangerous. It is a little dangerous, but Tiangu beasts are not as hard to deal with as Heaven Old Imperial family's guys. Yu Yiren laughed, you can go in by yourself, I'll give you an array disc, at that time, you only need to pass through this array disc and you will be able to come out. Yu Yiren gave Chen Shang an array disc. After you come out, this array disc will guide you to me. Chen Shang kept the array disc and asked, then what about you, boss? Where are you going? Heaven Old Imperial family and those fellows will not let you off. Quote, you don't have to worry about this, I have a place to go. If it really doesn't work, I will also enter this place. This is currently a relatively safe place among the Heaven Old Super Realm. Yu Yiren sighed, you are not from the Heaven Old Divine race, so there won't be any danger if you enter. You should be able to handle those large Tiangu beasts, if they are beast kings, they are all very human, and probably won't take the initiative to attack you. Yu Yiren knew that since Chen Shang had 2 pill souls, once he grew up, his powers would become even stronger. When that time came, he would not have to worry too much about the Heaven Old Imperial family. Then I'm going in, I'll definitely increase my strength as fast as I can. Chen Shang immediately rushed into the black mist in front of him. After passing through a barrier, his entire body shivered, because that barrier was extremely terrifying. Previously, he had promised Zheng Profound and Song Yichen that he would help them break this barrier, and let them lead his comrades to attack the people of Heaven Old Divine race. Now that he was here, he wanted to let Feng Ke study the seal here. What a terrifying seal, the people of Heaven Old Divine race are really powerful. Feng Ke said, this seal should have been created by the people of the Heaven Old Divine race using all their strength, if not it would not have been so terrifying. Chen Shang was still inside the black fog, so he could only continue forward. At the same time, he had to be cautious, as if there was a Heaven Old Super Beast King hidden inside. Even though there was a dense fog that was constantly churning inside, the inside was extremely quiet. This kind of peace was able to make people not feel so stifled, but instead make them feel relaxed. Chapter 3185. Chen Shang never thought that the more he entered, the safer he would be. Even though the surroundings were filled with dense fog, it was very rare to find peace in this place. What the hell is going on? Chen Shang continued to fly, but he could not see anything, nor could he sense any qi. He had originally thought that there would be many Tiangu beasts that would fly out to attack him, but now, there wasn't even a single hair on their body. Don't you have the message jade token? Take it out and see if you can contact Zheng Profound and the others. Feng Ke suddenly said. Yeah, why didn't I think of that? Chen Shang took it out and sent a message to them. After a while, Chen Shang saw that the communication jade talisman was trembling, and was agitated. Chen Shang, you're already here. You entered the ancient forbidden land. The one who asked was Song Yichen. Yes, where are you? I'm surrounded by fog. Chen Shang said, when did you come in? Once they entered, it would be very difficult for them to leave, and he had no idea what they were doing here. Make some arrangements, Song Yichen said. After we found enough myriad Tao sources, we came in. It's just that many of the heaven-old super beast kings here are in the process of fusing with the myriad Tao origin, and it will take a while for us to succeed. We are also waiting for your arrival. It was because Chen Shang had promised them before that he would come here to take a look, which was why they dared to take the risk and enter. Now I'll see if I can get to where you are. Chen Shang took out the 6 realms mirrors, and thought about Song Yichen's appearance. Song Yichen then appeared on the mirror and sat on top of a huge tree, on top of a huge tree branch. Was very surprised to see such a huge tree inside. I've already seen you, you should be able to get directly to your position. Chen Shang immediately used teleportation and appeared by Song Yichen's side. Seeing that Chen Shang had arrived so quickly, Song Yichen could not help but exclaim, Chen Shang, you're too powerful. That's right, Chen Shang laughed. What exactly is this place? Is this also in the ancient desolation forbidden land? Quote. Chen Shang admired the beautiful scenery in front of them. He and Song Yichen sat atop a huge tree branch and looked at the beautiful lake in front of them. In the middle of the lake was a small island full of jade green trees. Earlier, you were still lost in the fog. If you had gone through the fog, then you would have been able to enter this ancient forbidden area. This place was sealed long ago, and very few people dared to come here afterwards. Song Yichen said. I thought things were very bad here. Chen Shang laughed. I never thought that it would be so beautiful. I can cultivate here for a few days. Oh right, Chen Shang, what have you been through outside? Song Yichen was extremely curious. I've been through a lot. Chen Shang sighed. It's a long story. After that, Chen Shang slowly told Song Yichen what had happened, shocking him greatly. My God, you actually killed a heaven-old prince right away. Song Yichen was very agitated, because today, their entire clan was bestowed upon them by the heaven-old imperial family. They truly hated the heaven-old imperial family to the bones. Therefore, Chen Shang vented his anger greatly by getting rid of the prince of heaven-old imperial family. Heaven-old imperial family is indeed powerful. I am far from being their match right now, so I need to go into closed-door cultivation here. Chen Shang said, I want to become stronger even faster. Chen Shang was oppressed by the heaven-old imperial family, and he was even made an enemy of him. Just make a hole here. When you need it, I will bring you to find the myriad Tao divine soil. There are a lot of them here. Song Yichen chuckled. Myriad Tao divine soil should be very useful to you. Chen Shang nodded his head. Myriad Tao divine soil was indeed very useful to him. Are we going to start closed-door training now? Song Yichen asked. The sooner the better. Chen Shang walked towards the tree trunk, and after that, he dug a hole in the tree as he asked. Where's Big Brother Zheng? He went out to play. I'll help you. Song Yichen also helped Chen Shang to create a hole in the tree. The two of them worked together and completed the task very quickly. Chen Shang entered the tree cave and created a few formations so that he would not be disturbed by the outside world. Then, he took out the pill spirit refined by the Huakuan Dan. I wonder if I can eat it directly. Chen Shang looked at the fist-sized crystal and could not help but laugh. It's better not to eat it. Once I produce a pill spirit, I will have a lot of Huakuan Dan, and I don't need to refine it myself. Huakuan Dan were still very useful, not to mention allowing people to quickly step into the world-defying crazy realm. After stepping into the world-defying crazy realm, they could also obtain more world-defying stage fierce power S from consuming these pills, and increase their own cultivation. Chen Shang started to bleed, and the exquisite crystal was quickly dyed red by his blood, until Chen Zhang's blood could no longer be poured in, only then did he stop. So much blood. Chen Zhang's face had turned pale. The speed at which this crystal was sucking blood was too fast. He was unable to keep up with the speed at which he was recovering his blood. Beautiful, Sijing, how is the strong strength Dan spirit inside? Chen Shang asked. The baby inside is about to mature. It seems like it's about to awaken. Zhang Sijing laughed. This is a little girl. I had thought that pill spirit would be a man. Quote. Is it a girl? The pill spirit that I saw growing up was a man. Chen Shang found it extremely interesting. Alright, now I have another pill spirit. I'll hand it over to you. Chen Shang placed the fierce transformation Dan spirit inside and handed it over to the two sisters. Chen Shang had only been in the cave for 3 days, but it had already started to become quiet outside. Chen Shang, Something's wrong, there's trouble. Song Yichen, who was outside, suddenly shouted. What trouble? Chen Shang immediately ran out. He didn't even need Song Yichen to reply to him because he knew what kind of trouble had come. Several huge crocodiles had appeared on the lake in front. What attracted them here? Chen Zhang's heart skipped a beat. He suspected that the aura that the pill spirit had released had attracted these things. Are these guys all Tianghu beasts? Chen Shang asked. Of course, but they weren't transformed by a human. They were originally found in this area, and are quite powerful. Song Yichen said, let's leave this place. Chen Shang nodded his head. Killing these Tianghu beasts was extremely tiring, and it would be better to go somewhere else. Chapter 3186. Song Yichen brought Chen Shang and flew out of the lake, into a mountain forest. The environment here was not bad, and Chen Shang was very satisfied. It seems to be quite large in here. Chen Shang and Song Yichen had flown for a good half a day just now, but he did not see the boundary of this sealed land. Yes, it's very big. This place is a large area of heaven, old super realm. Song Yichen sighed. It's a pity that they were sealed up. All those fellows back then went all out in order to obtain the myriad Tao divine soil, and now they are preparing to reap the rewards. Not only was their race sealed inside, they had even become Tianghu beasts. Only a small number of their clansmen were able to retain their memories after turning into Tianghu beast. The other weak ones had all become wild beasts, and their memories had all been erased. Don't worry, you'll definitely get revenge. Chen Shang patted Song Yichen's shoulder. If it was a natural disaster, then it would be fine as long as a clan encountered such a huge change. However, this was just a trap. Another clan had persecuted them for the sake of obtaining the myriad Tao divine soil. I'll continue my closed-door cultivation. Chen Shang had already heard the Mei Jing sisters calling out to him, because the strong strength dance spirit had moved, telling him to quickly go take a look. All right, Song Yichen immediately opened up a tree hole for Chen Shang to cultivate inside. Chen Shang walked into the tree cave and anxiously took out the strong strength dance spirit. After taking a closer look, he discovered that the strong strength dance spirit had already cracked, and although the fetus inside was small, it was filled with spirit energy. It had already opened its eyes and stared at Chen Shang, as it began to cry out. Looks like I'll be able to grow up very soon. Chen Shang laughed and then handed the strong strength dance spirit over for Mei Jing's sisters to look after. At this moment, the two sisters had already started to play with the large amount of life force being poured into the fierce transformation Dan spirit. Chen Shang ate the remaining strong strength Dan, and when he was refining, the Mei Jing sisters called for him again. He actually came out. This is too fast, and he even grew so big. Chen Shang looked at the baby inside the Yuyao Mountain Villa. It looked to be 1 or 2 years old, and not long ago, it was just a baby in a crystal. She was able to absorb all of the crystal energy. Now, she can start to refine it herself. Zhang Sime said, I wonder how much energy these medicine crystal are able to provide for her. Just wait and see. Chen Shang laughed. It shouldn't take long. It was just as Chen Shang had guessed. In just 2 days, she had grown into a slim and graceful girl. Her beautiful eyes were filled with curiosity, making her look even more lovable. She had always used her clear and sweet voice to ask Mei Jing sisters and the others some questions, which made the Yuyao Mountain Villa even more joyous. Mei Jing sisters liked her a lot. After all, she was raised by the two sisters using the power of rebirth. This girl was born to be very close to them, and right now, they were like good sisters. Let's call it Zhang Lisi, Lily. The name that Zhang Sijing had given her could not be called Strong Strength Dan Spirit, right? Zhang Lisi liked the name very much. She was also very lively, skipping and playing inside the Yuyao Mountain Villa. Although she looked like a girl, she looked like a child. A pretty good pill spirit is much better than that man in Heavenly Dan Landlord. Feng Ke was playing with her inside. Of course, Zhang Lisi knew that she had a master. She knew that she had to listen to her master's orders. Chen Shang did not ask her to call him master, she only asked her to call him big brother. I'll send her some memories and let her understand some things about the pills. Chen Shang entered Yuyao Mountain Villa to meet the little girl Zhang Lisi. After Zhang Lisi saw Chen Shang, he was a little afraid, lowering his head and not daring to raise his head. Chen Shang caressed her face, at the same time passing over the memories of the medicinal pellets, allowing her to understand more about the medicinal pellets and her own origins. After Zhang Lisi found out about all of this, he had no choice but to use a period of time to digest everything. I was actually that powerful. Zhang Lisi could not condense strong strength Dan now, but after obtaining the memories that Chen Shang transferred to her, under Chen Zhang's guidance, she was able to condense strong strength Dan. To Chen Zhang's great surprise, she was able to condense over 10 strong strength Dan in 2 hours. Her speed was very fast and she did not consume much energy. The strong strength Dan she created was also for the Mei Jing sisters and the others to eat. After they ate it, they praised the quality of the strong strength Dan. Lily, try and see if you can form higher quality strong strength Dan. Chen Shang said, it's just like the memory that I gave you, which was trying to concoct the super high quality pill. Try using this method, and see if you can condense it. Elder brother Shen, I'll start now. Zhang Lisi replied as he closed his eyes and began to condense the pellet. Chen Shang didn't want to disturb her now, so he patiently waited for Zhang Lisi. Alright, 2 hours later, Zhang Lisi managed to condense a strong strength Dan. Chen Shang took it out to have a look and could not help but smile, the quality is very high. It seems like she only needs time to condense something of higher quality. Lily, are you tired? Chen Shang asked. Not tired at all, Zhang Lisi said sweetly. Although the quality of the strong strength Dan was not bad, Chen Shang felt that it was still not enough for him to use. At this time, the 3 girls were in Chen Zhang's time domain, the Mei Jing sisters and the others were using their power to nurture Huakuen Dan, while Zhang Lisi was refining his strong strength Dan. Chen Shang asked her to control it for a bit. She would condense 1 pellet in the 9th heaven and then rest for a day. Because the time domain he used only covered the 3 of them, after Chen Shang waited outside for a day, a month passed. It's done. Zhang Lisi held 3 bright white strong strength Dan-s in her small hands. Although they looked white, they emitted a white light, which was different from before. After Chen Shang received the 3 pellets, he carefully examined them and took a deep breath. The quality is very high. If this continues, perhaps she will also be able to condense a pill spirit. He only had this thought, but for the time being, he did not plan to let Zhang Lisi do it. He ate these 3 strong strength Dan and then began to refine them. In order to prevent Song Yichen, who was outside, from waiting for too long, he used a domain to envelop him. Zhang Lisi also began to condense strong strength Dan-s. Chen Shang instructed her to condense 1 pellet for 9 days, and give it to the Mei Jing sisters and the rest after she was done. This was extremely useful to them. It was about time for them to level up. Please remember, Flying Bird Chinese has no window, update timely. Chapter 3187. A tiny fetus had already appeared in the fierce transformation Dan spirit under the influence of a large amount of power of regeneration, and was slowly growing. As Chen Shang refined the 3 strong strength Dan-s, he carefully observed the elixir crystals in Mei Jing sisters' hands. It's a girl again, Chen Shang frowned and said. Heavenly Dan landlord's pill spirit is male. What exactly is the reason for the sex difference? It should be related to the person who channeled the life energy. The life energy was all channeled by my sister and me, so all of the elixirs are women. Zhang Sime said, this is also good, this way we can have a lot of sisters. Chen Shang did not mind. After all, no matter if it was male or female, they were all able to condense high-quality pills. Several days had passed and Chen Shang had already refined those 3 strong strength Dan, but he still had not stepped into the world-defying crazy realm. I still can't do it. Don't tell me I have to eat the arrogant core. Chen Shang felt that he was stuck in something, unable to rush to a higher realm. At this time, he had no choice but to run out and find Song Yichen. Brother Song, I feel that it's very difficult for me to break through by myself, and I'm unable to step into the world-defying crazy realm. Chen Shang was very gloomy. He thought that eating the strong strength Dan would allow him to quickly break through. The world-defying stage fierce power in his body had already reached its limit, and his body was very strong as well. If he was unable to break through, his flesh and world-defying stage fierce power would not be improved, and would instead be restricted. The world-defying crazy realm is still rather difficult to step into. The problem you are facing right now is that you cannot condense the world-defying stage fierce soul. To step into the world-defying crazy realm, you need to condense the world-defying stage fierce soul. Song Yichen said. Chen Shang had heard about the world-defying stage fierce soul before. He had released the world-defying stage fierce soul before, but he didn't know how he was supposed to condense it. Do I need to use a very strong world-defying stage fierce power to condense it? Chen Shang asked, because when he previously trained with this kind of spirit body, it was always like this. No, you need to sense the world-defying stage soul river above myriad Tao yourself and capture a world-defying stage fierce soul. This doesn't require anything, the only problem is that whether or not you can obtain a good world-defying stage fierce soul. If you can't get it, your power in the future will be greatly restricted. It's really mysterious. This was the first time Chen Shang had heard of this. How do I sense the world-defying stage fierce soul? Chen Zhang's face was filled with thought, and asked again, after love, how do you feel about that world-defying stage soul river? What is that thing? World-defying stage soul river is high up in the sky above myriad Tao. That place is very high up and even the strong world-defying stage are unable to climb up there. There are 3 very long world-defying stage soul rivers on top, and each is taller than the last. It is a soul river formed by the deaths of many humans, beasts and other living beings. This soul is made from the rebirth of those souls after they were destroyed, and it has lost all consciousness. It has been floating in the air above the myriad Tao all year round and over time, it has become very strong and mysterious. Quote, if you obtain the world-defying stage soul river, you will be able to step into the world-defying crazy realm. Song Yichen said, this is the most difficult step to take to enter the world-defying crazy realm. I heard that you can borrow pills to increase your sensitivity towards world-defying stage soul river and sense even higher soul rivers. Quote, there's such a way. Chen Shang thought about it. Until now, he still could not understand the use of Huaku and Dan. Could it be that it can help people feel the soul river? There are some people who are simply unable to sense their soul rivers, which is why they are unable to step into the world-defying crazy realm for their entire lives. Song Yichen said, 3 soul rivers. The world-defying stage fierce soul of the first layer of the soul rivers is the weakest, and the world-defying stage fierce soul of the third layer of the soul river is the strongest. Alright, I'll give it a try now. Chen Shang once again entered the tree cave. Chen Zhang's divine sense C had an invigorated meridian, which allowed him to easily sense the situation in the myriad Tao. He focused his spirit on the invigorated meridian, and then tested if he could send his spirit, along the spirit, to the myriad Tao. After a day, he suddenly felt that the spirit that was focused on his invigorated meridian had become relaxed, as if it had suddenly broken out of its confinement. Could this be above myriad Tao? Chen Shang was ecstatic. At this time, he could only see darkness, but there were 3 silk threads. Could this be the legendary triple-layered soul river? Chen Shang controlled his own spirit to fly upwards. Even though he could fly, his speed was extremely slow and he could only go up bit by bit. He did not know when he would be able to reach world-defying stage soul river. After an unknown amount of time, Chen Shang finally arrived at a place inside a soul river. There were countless specks of light in his surroundings, and when these specks of light saw him, they all dispersed, like a flock of frightened birds. Chen Zhang's spirit was extremely slow. He had controlled his spirit to chase after one of the light dots, but that light dot was flying very fast. Damn it, how can I catch these little things? Chen Shang was a little angered. He then controlled his spirit and continued to fly upwards. It was only a single layer of soul river. If he had spent a lot of effort to catch a madness soul of the first layer, wouldn't his efforts have been in vain? Just like that, his spirit continued to rise, and after a while, he finally reached the second layer of the soul river. After a while, his spirit continued to rise, and after a while, he finally reached the second layer of the soul river. I wonder how long it took. Looks like I haven't made any preparations. Even if I were to head to world-defying stage soul river S on the 3rd floor, I would not be able to catch world-defying stage fierce soul S. Chen Shang was extremely helpless and could only withdraw temporarily. After his consciousness left the myriad Tao, he anxiously asked Feng Ke, just how much time had he used. 3 months. Feng Ke said, the Huaku and Dan have already grown up. That's right, before Chen Shang attempted to capture the world-defying stage fierce soul, he had already used it on the Yuyao Mountain Villa. Let me look at that little girl, Chen Shang said while grinning. He then examined inside the Yuyao Mountain Villa, and very quickly saw a young lady wearing purple clothes sitting on a patch of grass with her eyes closed, probably condensing a core. This girl had a beautiful oval face, and her face was extremely delicate and beautiful. When her eyes were closed, it made people feel that she was very quiet. I'll go in and see her. Chen Shang immediately entered the Yuyao Mountain Villa. At this time, Zhang Lisi ran out from a room and shouted softly, Elder Brother Shen, this is my sister, Zhang Siwa, you can just call her Wa Wa Wa. After Zhang Si opened his eyes, he saw Chen Shang. Elder Brother Shen, quote, Chen Shang and Jiang Si had a conversation for a while, and after that, he transferred some of her memories to her. The two of them became very familiar with each other, and Jiang Siwa revealed a beautiful smile on his face. And during this period of time, under Zhang Lisi's guidance, Jiang Si, Flowers, had already formed quite a few Huakuan, which made Chen Shang very happy. Chapter 3188. It just so happened that Chen Shang was lacking Huakuan. He wanted to try and see if Huakuan would help him capture the world-defying stage Fierce Soul. Access. He obtained a few very good quality Huakuan, then left the Yuyao Mountain Villa, and began to sense the world-defying stage Soul River S again. After consuming the proud pellet, under the effect of the medicine, his spirit unexpectedly rushed into the myriad Tao, and under his control, it was very easy for his spirit to fly up to the Soul River. His speed is really fast. Chen Shang gasped in surprise, his heart was in ecstasy. It was because the use of Huakuan was extremely important, no wonder it was useful in allowing people to step into the world-defying crazy realm. Not long after, Chen Shang arrived at the third floor of the world-defying stage Soul River. Although the specks of light here were fast, with the help of the medicinal power of the arrogant pill, his spirit was able to fly very quickly. Haha, I finally caught one. Chen Shang was very happy. After he caught a speck of light, he used his mind to control his own mind to sense the speck of light. It's an arrogant dog's soul, what use is there for it to come here? Chen Shang was extremely unhappy, what he had painstakingly captured was actually a dog's soul. The madness soul on the third floor weren't all that good either, because Chen Shang had caught more than 10 specks of light, and all of them were world-defying stage Fierce Soul as he was very dissatisfied with. It won't be easy to find a madness soul that is satisfied with me, and I can't just casually find it either. Just as Chen Shang was about to catch another light dot, he suddenly realized that his spirit had slowed down. I've used up all my medicinal energy. In order to continue, he could only eat another Huakuan. If this were to continue, he didn't know when he would be able to find a world-defying stage Fierce Soul that he was satisfied with. If he couldn't find it, then he would need to consume a lot of Huakuan. Of course, he did not lack Huakuan, he did not even need to refine them, and would be able to obtain high-quality ones. What kind of world-defying stage Fierce Soul do I need? Chen Shang kept searching. He felt that if he had the divine fire soul he would definitely be more than happy to do so, but no matter what, he could not find it. It was just some stones, wood, flowers, grass. Very quickly, he had eaten the 5th Huakuan. At this time, he also used a month's time. He was also very frustrated at this rate. Just when he was starting to get impatient, he caught a dot of light. This dot of light was not as peaceful as before and was actually struggling. It was a good thing that Chen Shang had eaten the Huakuan. Otherwise, his spirit would not be strong enough and he would be broken free by this light. My God, what the hell is this thing? Let me have a good look. Chen Shang laughed, but just as he was about to take a look, the light suddenly flashed and transformed into a sword, slashing at his spirit god crazily. The speed of the hacking was extremely fast, in a moment hacking his spirit god into a mess. This is good stuff. Chen Zhang's ideal world-defying stage Fierce Soul was something like a fire soul, but the sword spirit in front of him made him like it even more. Although his spirit was hacked into pieces, he quickly gathered it back together. There are also quite a few Huakuan's medicinal powers. Go! After Chen Shang sensed the remaining medicinal power in his body, he immediately used the remaining medicinal power in his body, allowing his spirit to have an even stronger power, and then wrapped this speck of light with it. I've already caught him. Don't tell me he's going to drag him into my divine sense sea. Chen Shang only had this thought, but his spirit had already returned to the divine sense sea, and that extremely arrogant sword spirit had also entered his divine sense sea. Coming to my territory, isn't it easy to deal with you? Chen Shang laughed sinisterly, then used his own most powerful, divine power, to suppress the little sword-like world-defying stage Fierce Soul. He unceasingly released the world-defying stage Fierce power, allowing the world-defying stage Fierce power to wrap around the little sword layer by layer. After a period of time, the little sword had settled down and even established a connection with him. Every vein in Chen Zhang's divine sense sea had become one with the sword, and the seawater formed from the world-defying stage Fierce power was already churning in the divine sense sea. The golden-colored seawater continuously churned and whistled, and the light was getting brighter and brighter, as if it was evolving. His world-defying stage Fierce power was becoming stronger, and other than that, he felt that his body had also changed. Song Yichen, who had been standing guard outside the tree hole for a long time, could feel that there was quite a bit of movement coming from inside the tree hole. At such a short time. Quote, because under normal circumstances, capturing world-defying stage fierce soul was extremely difficult, especially for those who were able to capture the right one, it would take a lot of time. 10,000 years isn't a big deal. But Chen Shang was only a few months old. Just as Song Yichen was startled, Chen Shang walked out of the tree cave with a smile. Haha, I have finally stepped into the world-defying crazy realm. Chen Shang laughed out loud. Amazing, Song Yichen exclaimed, what's your world-defying stage fierce soul? It's a sword, Chen Shang said, is it considered good? Chen Shang had not used the sword soul before, but he felt that it must be very powerful, because after the sword soul entered his divine sense C, it caused all of the world-defying stage fierce power in his divine sense C to evolve and become stronger. Even his body became stronger than before, with a very huge increase. Of course, this is a weapon-type world-defying stage fierce soul. Song Yichen said with a look of envy on his face, your luck is really good, to be able to catch such a good world-defying stage fierce soul so easily. What he did not know was that Chen Zhang's primordial sword soul was actually from the third level of the world-defying stage fierce soul. Brother Song, what's your world-defying stage fierce soul? Chen Shang asked curiously. Song Yichen shook his head and sighed, then opened his palm. A very small gorilla appeared in his palm, and when this gorilla appeared, it jumped up and down Song Yichen's body, and was very playful. Gorilla, Chen Shang couldn't help but laugh. Don't laugh at me, this world-defying stage fierce soul is easier to find, and it belongs to the world-defying stage soul river S of the second floor. Zheng Profound's world-defying stage fierce soul is also a gorilla. Song Yichen curled his lips. So that's how it is. No wonder when you became Tianggu Beast, you were all gorillas. Is this related to the world-defying stage fierce soul? Chen Shang had previously captured many world-defying stage fierce souls on the third floor, and a majority of them were beast spirits. He had seen quite a few of them, but he had released them after. Yes, it has a great impact on the world-defying stage fierce soul. Song Yichen nodded his head. In the heaven old super realm, even if they are from there, most of their world-defying stage fierce souls are beast spirits because beast spirits are easy to capture. With no good conditions, many people would use the world-defying stage fierce soul when they were capturing it, so people like Chen Shang who had a unique sword spirit were rare. Chen Shang, on the other hand, had gone through many selections, mainly because he had very high-quality Huaku and Dan-s, all of which were condensed out from the rivers and flowers. Chapter 3189. Pure Text Online. Read local domain name mobile phone synchronous read please visit. Chen Shang had finally stepped into the world-defying crazy realm, and with his current strength, he could already move towards Myriad Dao. However, he felt that his current strength was not enough, and the environment above the Myriad Dao was even more cruel. Brother Song, what stage are you in right now? Asked. The world-defying crazy realm had 4 realms, which were the late stage of the early stage and the peak stage. Right now, I am only at the middle stage. I can only capture the second world-defying stage fierce soul. Song Yichen said, the time to capture the third world-defying stage fierce soul has yet to come, and I don't know when it will come either. I can only continue to cultivate and wait for the opportunity to come. Can we still continue capturing world-defying stage fierce soul? Chen Shang did not expect this. Yes, among the 4 realms of the world-defying crazy realm, every realm requires one to be captured. This can also allow you to obtain even more powerful strength. Song Yichen said, right, do you need a Myriad Dao divine soil now? I can take you to get it. Quote. Chen Shang thought, he felt that his current strength could be considered very strong, and was unsure if he could return to the divine wasteland. Brother Song, do you think I can go back? Both Chen Shang and Chen Shang were currently unable to use the Myriad Dao divine soil to forge artifacts, and only Chen Kai was currently in the midst of the divine wasteland. Of course, but it will be more troublesome. Song Yichen said, right now, Zheng Profound and I are unable to go out. Although we have already changed back to our original appearances, we are still natives, so we are unable to go out unless we can break this seal. Chen Shang looked at the 3 suns in the sky. One of the suns was given to them by the natives, it had always been able to provide them with energy. I will now bring me to get some Myriad Dao divine soil s. I need to refine some powerful divine tools, and with those things, dealing with Heaven Old Imperial family will be much easier. Chen Shang said, your enemy is the Heaven Old Imperial family. Yes. Song Yichen suddenly clenched his fists. The Super Yang Divine Altar is inside the Heaven Old Imperial Palace. If we can take him back, our clan might be reborn. I just think it's possible. As for whether it's true, I don't know. Quote. Have you guys tried to enter the Heaven Old Imperial Palace before? Chen Shang asked. The moment Zheng Profound and I got close to the Imperial City, we were already discovered. After that, we had no choice but to flee to this place. Song Yichen said. Of course Chen Shang knew, if they weren't terrifying, they wouldn't have been able to exterminate a strong race. Let's go, I'll bring you to the myriad Dao Divine soil right now. Song Yichen was already floating. Chen Shang followed behind him, and under his lead, they flew into a patch of black mist in the distance. Is that the place to come in? Chen Shang asked. Previously, when he had entered this sealed region, he had encountered this kind of dense fog. No, that place is even more terrifying, but that is only for the people of the Heaven Old Divine race and other races. For me, it is nothing. That place was once our tribe's holy land, our Super Yang Divine Altar is inside, and a large number of myriad Dao Divine soil is inside. Song Yichen said. When Chen Shang thought about how he would soon get a large number of myriad Dao Divine soil he became extremely excited and couldn't help but increase his speed. He felt that if he could obtain a large number of myriad Dao Divine soil he must definitely thank Song Yichen and the others, so he planned to help Song Yichen and the others to take back the Super Yang Divine Altar and then help them to break the seal. Big brother Zheng is so busy. I haven't even seen him before. Chen Shang said. He is looking for his companions and giving them the myriad Dao's origin. He would also like to count how many of them can transform back into their human forms. Song Yichen said, the myriad Dao might not be enough. If the time is not right, I will need your help. No problem. Chen Shang laughed. It was not difficult for him, he only needed to use the derivation method to refine it. It would take some time. Then I'll thank you first. Song Yichen laughed. He was extremely glad that he was able to recognize a powerful human like Chen Shang, who could be of great help to him. Song Yichen had already brought Chen Shang out of the dense fog, but he did not immediately go in. Instead, he waited outside, not knowing why. Why aren't you going in yet? After Chen Shang waited for a while, and saw that Song Yichen was still watching, he was confused. It's a bit strange inside. The last time I came, it wasn't like this. What happened? Song Yichen frowned. What's so strange about that? I don't feel anything. Chen Shang carefully checked the auras in his surroundings and didn't find anything wrong. This feeling is something that you can't discover. Only those who are very familiar with the interior can discover it. Song Yichen said, I've grown up inside there since I was young, so I can immediately find out what changes there are. So what's happening inside now? Is it getting dangerous? Chen Shang asked. If he could not go in now, he would feel regret. I can't be sure, but something has changed. Are you afraid? How about you wait for me outside and I'll take a look inside? Song Yichen said, if there's no danger, I'll come out again to find you. Let's go in together. Of course Chen Shang wasn't afraid, he had just stepped into the world-defying crazy realm and he was extremely confident in himself. He felt that Song Yichen was only one realm higher than him. If he used his full strength, he might even be able to defeat Song Yichen. Alright, then you have to be careful. Song Yichen knew that Chen Shang was not weak, and he had even stepped into the world-defying crazy realm. Just like this, he and Chen Shang entered the sacred ground that was shrouded in black fog. After entering, a domineering aura suddenly came over, scaring Chen Shang and Song Yichen to the point that their faces turned pale. So strong, Chen Shang exclaimed in shock, there is indeed a huge change here. What kind of powerful thing is hidden in your clan, to actually be so terrifying? I don't know. This holy land is already very mysterious. Back then, all of the elders in the holy land died. I don't know how many of our juniors there are. Although I came here a few times, there was no such change. Song Yichen shook his head. Chen Shang felt a chill down his spine. It was obvious that there was something powerful hidden inside, and it was something that had just awakened during this period of time. He just did not know what it was. Do we still need to go in? Although Song Yichen was also a little afraid, he was also very curious. After all, this was related to the secrets of their race. He really wanted to go in and see what exactly was so scary about this place. Chapter 3190. Since we're already here, of course we have to go in and take a look. Chen Shang laughed. Come, let's go in and see what it is. Song Yichen nodded. Although this item was not very sturdy, with Feng Ka's continuous strengthening, it could release all kinds of arrays or seals. It would be of great help to Chen Shang, and his defensive power could be compared to it. Standing on the Six Realms mirrors at this moment, Song Yichen also felt an inexplicable sense of security. This divine tool of yours looks really amazing. Song Yichen praised. Hee, if I had used a little more myriad Dao divine soil refining, I could become even more powerful. Chen Shang laughed. Yes, if everything goes well this time, you will be able to obtain a large number of myriad Dao divine soil S. By then, it will be enough for you to strengthen this thing. Song Yichen said, I'm just worried that there might be some unforeseen events. At that time, it will be difficult to obtain myriad Dao divine soil S. Don't worry, there aren't any unforeseen events here. Chen Shang didn't think much of it. Although the aura from before was very scary, he didn't feel any sense of danger, so he was more at ease. After entering, Chen Shang saw that there were ruins everywhere. The buildings inside had already been destroyed, but even after so many years, they did not decay. The construction materials of this sacred land are quite good. After so many years, they should have already decayed. Chen Shang exclaimed, because when this place was destroyed, it was already many thousands of years ago. The building materials here are all added into the myriad Dao divine soil, so they won't rot so easily. Song Yichen's words rendered him speechless. To actually use the myriad Dao divine soil to build houses, this was simply extravagant. Even those experts above the myriad Dao would not be able to imagine that. No wonder the heaven old divine race was so jealous. They wanted to eliminate this clan no matter what and snatch the myriad Dao divine soil S here. It was just that they had been busy for nothing and did not manage to obtain many myriad Dao divine soil S. Right, if you didn't bring me in, what kind of danger would you encounter? Chen Shang asked. Suddenly, a gust of cold wind blew over, causing him to feel a little gloomy. I don't know. Song Yichen thought for a while, and then said two words. I know that the people from the other races, if they were able to get out of here, would either be crazy or be heavily injured. Back then, when the old experts from the heaven old divine race entered the place for the first time and took the super young divine altar away, they thought that the mysterious power would be weakened. However, the second time they sent someone in, those people came out with their bodies covered in cracks and wounds, and they died miserably. Song Yichen said, back then, those heaven old divine race people were all in the middle stage of the world-defying crazy realm, some of them were even stronger than me. Then will I be alright? Chen Shang was shocked and worried. No, as long as I'm by your side, that power won't appear. Seeing Chen Zhang's pale face, Song Yichen could not help but laugh. Although Song Yichen was very sure, but Chen Shang was still a bit worried. The Six Realms mirrors was flying rather slowly, so Chen Shang didn't dare to increase his speed right now either. This sacred ground looked to be shrouded by black fog from the outside, but after entering, it was not completely dark, it was just rather dark. If one looked carefully, they could see a lot of things, and Chen Shang would be able to see many broken down houses. This place is the center of the sacred land. Song Yichen suddenly pointed to a deep pit in front of them. Chen Shang looked ahead and said, was there originally a huge pit in the middle of your sacred grounds? The pit was very big and very deep. Chen Shang felt that this didn't seem like the middle of a sacred ground at all. Of course not, that place was originally a square, but because of the outbreak of the battle and the super young divine altar being taken away from the center, it became like this. Song Yichen said helplessly, the sacred ground has been completely destroyed. Chen Shang controlled the Six Realms mirrors to fly over. He originally wanted to go closer, but when he got closer, he felt that the Six Realms mirrors had suddenly lost control. Chen Shang, don't go over there. Myriad Dao divine soil isn't over there. Song Yichen immediately shouted. However, Chen Zhang's Six Realms mirrors still flew over, causing Song Yichen to be anxious. Chen Shang, stop, Song Yichen urged. I can't stop. Chen Shang was also worried. For some reason, his Six Realms mirrors was not under his control and it flew over directly. Why can't I stop? After Song Yichen asked, he also received an answer, because he felt a suction force pulling them into the deep pit in the middle. Crap, Chen Shang immediately flew up, wanting to fly away from the suction force, but to no avail. You can't escape, Song Yichen shouted in alarm, and then, he dragged Chen Shang. He wanted to fly out, but no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't send him flying. By now, they were halfway down the deep hole. Haha, all of you stop struggling. I'm going to eat all of you. A sinister laughter came from below. When Chen Shang heard it, he flew up with all his might. However, no matter how hard he and Song Yichen tried, they couldn't fly up. Furthermore, Chen Shang also used the time and space power, it was useless. Don't be afraid. Song Yichen took a deep breath, and said, we need to calm down. Chen Shang nodded, MN. The two of them calmed down and did not continue flying upwards. Chen Shang tightly held onto the heavenly magic sword and its body. If anything were to happen, he would be able to react in time. Very soon, they reached the bottom. This place was not dark at all, and there was even a dim golden light. This is the myriad Dao divine soil. Chen Shang shouted in alarm. There were a lot of myriad Dao divine soil here, and it was all over the ground. Haha, you can't take it with you, and I'm going to eat you. The savage voice laughed again. Hearing the sinister laughter, Chen Shang and Song Yichen immediately looked over. On one of the stone walls, there was an old man with a few swords stuck to his body. It was these swords that had nailed him to the stone wall. It's someone from the Heaven Old divine race, and a member of the Heaven Old imperial family at that. Song Yichen said angrily, why is this guy here? All of you, come over here. The old man laughed out loud, his body suddenly leaking out a faint red light aura. A suction force suddenly appeared and sucked Song Yichen and Chen Shang over. When Chen Shang and Song Yichen were sucked towards that old man, they attacked him, especially Song Yichen. Punches after punches of world-defying stage fierce power continued to be thrown out, smashing into the body of the old man, but this old man was completely fine. Chapter 3191. You Turkish brats, you're dead meat. I've waited for so long. Finally, you've come. Today, let me have a feast. The old man laughed out loud. His strength was extremely strong, and Song Yichen's attack was actually useless against him. Chen Zhang's hand that was holding onto the heavenly magic sword was already drenched in sweat. If he used the heavenly magic sword's method to kill the old man, both he and Song Yichen would probably be eaten. I want to eat, the old man laughed sinisterly. Eat your grandpa. When Chen Shang got closer, he swung the heavenly magic sword past the old man's neck and immediately beheaded him. After the head fell to the ground, the suction force immediately disappeared. A divine weapon refined by the myriad Dao divine soil. This is impossible, you Turkish people already don't have a refiner to forge for you, you don't have such powerful divine weapons. The old man was shocked, he did not expect Chen Zhang's heavenly magic sword to be so terrifying, to the point of forgetting to defend. Chen Shang sneered, how is that impossible? Didn't you see it now? Old man, go to hell. After that, Song Yichen immediately flew over, gathered the power of his body onto his leg, and then fiercely stepped on the head. Boom! After his head was stepped on, it released a wave of qi. Chen Shang anxiously took out the world-defying mad source bead S from his body and threw them into the Tianshuang furnace S. That was close. Song Yichen heaved a sigh of relief. They were almost eaten just now. After Chen Shang took the world-defying mad source bead, he started to dig out the large number of myriad Dao divine soil S. Why are there so many myriad Dao divine soil S here? Chen Shang asked. Didn't you say you aren't here? Maybe we're in the depths of this place, so it's possible that it might appear. Song Yichen walked over and looked. He frowned. That's not right, these myriad Dao divine soil were obtained from some other place. Could it be that someone obtained the myriad Dao divine soil and threw it here? Chen Shang took away the myriad Dao divine soil tribe members here, they weighed tens of thousands of kilograms. So much is enough. Chen Shang was a very easily satisfied person. Let's go back after we go up, these myriad Dao divine soil are enough for me. No, how can this little be enough? Song Yichen felt that it was very rare, because he had seen many myriad Dao divine soil S before. Alright, then let's continue looking for the myriad Dao divine soil. Chen Shang looked at the corpse, and frowned, why is this fellow nailed here? Let's go see the swords that nailed him. Quote. Chen Shang walked over and pulled out a sword and looked at it carefully, then said, these swords are all mixed with myriad Dao divine soil, but they don't have as many as mine. Yes, and these swords are all from the Heaven Old divine race. Song Yichen was even more doubtful. Chen Shang released the well-informed ghost who had been in seclusion in Yuyao Mountain Villa for a long time. Well-informed ghost, take a look and see if you can collect all the residual souls here. I would like to know a few things. Chen Shang said to well-informed ghost, who had been following him this entire time. Back then, the well-informed ghost was trapped in a small house inside the Myriad Tao mausoleum, so he himself liked peace and quiet. Moreover, in a remote corner of the Yuyao mountain villa, there was a small house. No problem, the well-informed ghost said. Chen Zhang's soul-absorbing devil spell could not be used on very strong people, otherwise they would suffer a backlash. If it was a serious case, it would greatly injure his soul, so he himself did not dare to randomly compare it to those people who were much stronger than him. Well-informed ghost had collected a large number of residual souls. I want to know why there are so many myriad Tao divine soils here. Chen Shang said. These myriad Tao divine soils were all gathered together by 7 of the elders from the heaven old divine race. When they first took away the super young divine altar above, they discovered that there was a deep pit here, and then they all came down together. When they came down, they were worried that something might happen to the myriad Tao divine soils, so they poured them out and prepared to divide them up. But they didn't dare to kill him because if this great elder died, they would be suspected as well, so they used a sword formation to pin him to the wall. But the moment they finished, Great Elder used a secret technique to absorb all the energy from their bodies, so they died as well. After Chen Shang and Song Yichen finished listening, they didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Previously, Chen Shang had witnessed the character of the heaven old divine race. Chen Shang let the well-informed ghost return to the inside of the Yuyao mountain villa, then looked at Song Yichen and said, they originally wanted to explore this deep pit, but something like that happened. Should we continue? Yes. Song Yichen immediately made a decision, looked at the cave, and said with a frown, but there's no exit here. Chen Shang laughed, we'll see. He let out a large number of heaven-devouring rat and flew all around, finding a place where there was a huge rock blocking the way. A heaven-devouring rat could enter through a crack in the rock and then go to a passage. Over there, Chen Shang said, then walked over, and easily split the huge boulder with the 6 realms mirrors, revealing a hole. This should be left behind by your race, I wonder what it's hiding. Chen Shang said. Let's go in and take a look. Even though I am a native, over all these years, I have always been a beast, and never explored this sacred ground that was destroyed. Song Yichen sighed, I must have a good look at it now. Chen Shang took out a luminescent stone, and then, together with Song Yichen, they entered the tunnel. The moment they stepped into the tunnel, they felt a terrifying aura. This aura was the same as the one they felt before, causing them to suddenly stop, not daring to continue forwards. It's actually here. Chen Shang shivered. The aura that they were extremely afraid of, was precisely released from the depths of this passage. They didn't know what it was. Now, we can clearly feel this aura. Although it is very frightening, there is no danger. Song Yichen said, Chen Shang, wait for me here. I will go in myself. Just tell Zheng Profound and leave the matter of taking revenge on the heaven old divine race to him. Quote. What kind of joke is this? We came together, so of course we have to go in together. Chen Shang released a heaven-devouring rat, causing it to turn into a mouse man. I'll let this guy scout the way first. To make it safer, Chen Shang released more mouse man-s. There were more than 10 of them, and they were walking in front of the tunnel. Alright, you have so many tricks up your sleeves. Maybe you will be there, so I will be. Song Yichen curled his lips. Chapter 3192. Song Yichen didn't really want Chen Shang to go in with him. If he met with any danger, he would feel extremely sorry for Chen Shang. Previously, when they met the great clan elder of heaven old divine race, the 2 of them almost died. Don't worry, if there really is danger, we won't be able to survive until now. Chen Shang laughed and patted Song Yichen's shoulder, the thing inside should not be a living being. Although it has a very powerful aura, it does not carry any emotion, nor joy, anger and sorrow. Song Yichen also agreed with this point. They had only felt an extremely terrifying aura, and did not feel any emotion from the aura. Otherwise, they would have been able to differentiate between the 2. If it was the aura of a strong rancor, they would more or less carry a sense of pride or deterrence, but this aura did not exist, it was only strong, so Chen Shang speculated that it was likely something that was released. Something like this was most likely a strong energy source or something. Chen Shang and Song Yichen were extremely at ease as they walked along the tunnel. They did not know why, but the more they walked in, the more relieved they felt. Even when they released that aura once again, they did not feel any fear. Especially for Song Yichen, when he entered the depths of the passage, he felt an indescribable sense of security. What exactly is this thing? Why does it make me feel this way? Song Yichen was very suspicious. I suddenly have a very intimate feeling, why is it like this? This might be related to your race, that's why you feel this way. Chen Shang laughed, this is a good thing, let's go in. Song Yichen nodded, then increased his pace. Half an hour later, Chen Shang and Song Yichen walked out of the passageway and arrived at a gigantic underground palace. In the middle of the underground palace was a very short and very old altar. The altar was constructed very simply and looked like it was made from stone. The stacking of the stones was not very neat and was very rough. However, that terrifying aura was being released by this altar. What kind of super young divine altar is this? Song Yichen was shocked, and then shouted in shock, even though it looks rather old and worn out, super young divine altar is like this. Chen Shang had already walked over. This super young divine altar was not tall, only 30 meters or so, and it was not very big either. He had seen many huge altars and things like that, and this was the one that was rotten and small. Is that how you Turkish super young divine altar are? Chen Shang did not doubt the power of the super young divine altar, but it seemed too weak. Of course not. This is an ancient super young divine altar. Our previous super young divine altar did exactly this. I thought that after becoming an ancient super young divine altar again, this old one would be of no use, but I never thought that he would actually be so terrifying. Song Yichen shook his head. The reconstructed super young divine altar is very big and beautiful, but its shape is exactly the same as this one. What is the use of this super young divine altar? Chen Shang touched it with his hand and the terrifying aura surged out again. It frightened him so much that he hurriedly took a few steps back. I don't know. It must be useful. Song Yichen had already stepped onto the super young divine altar. After Song Yichen went up, the super young divine altar did not release any kind of aura either. Why is there such a big commotion from just a touch? It would be fine even if you go up there. Chen Shang touched it again, and the terrifying aura appeared again. Maybe it's because I'm Turkish. Song Yichen sighed. All those years ago, the seniors in our clan were no longer here, if not they would have known how to use this super young divine altar. Chen Zhang's eyes lit up, and he summoned Well-Informed Ghost out. Well-Informed Ghost, let's see if there are any residual souls here. We want to know what use this super young divine altar has. Chen Shang said. Well-Informed Ghost nodded, sat down cross-legged and began cultivating, using his unique technique to sense the remnants of the soul. Song Yichen had seen the abilities of the Well-Informed Ghost before, he knew the capabilities of the Well-Informed Ghost, and currently, he was really looking forward to see if the Well-Informed Ghost could succeed. If he could succeed, then they would know the use of this super young divine altar. After a few hours, Well-Informed Ghost finally had something to gain. This is one of the 9 great super young divine altars. The Well-Informed Ghost said, I can only gather a small amount of information. Although there are a lot of residual souls here, because they have existed for many years, there aren't many memories left inside. Tell me what you know. Chen Shang nodded. When it was very ancient, there existed a super young divine race. This super young divine race was originally in the world of the myriad Tao, but later on, when they obtained the power of the sun, they were able to separate themselves from the myriad Tao and open up a heaven-old super realm. He was originally called the super young realm. Song Yichen said as he furrowed his brows, there is a legend within our clan that after our ancestors escaped from the myriad Tao, they were able to create their own sun and then let the sun provide us with its power. Yes, at that time, this place was called Super Young Realm, but after it was separated, because there was a division within the Super Young Divine Race, 2 worlds were separated. This place is called Heaven Old Super Realm, and the other is called Super Young Realm. The Well-Informed Ghost said, you only have 3 sons left, and only the 3 clans remain. Originally, the Heaven Old Super Realm had 5 Super Young Divine Races. There was a total of 5 suns in the sky. Then the other 2 were wiped out, so there were only 3 suns left. The Well-Informed Ghost said. There were indeed only 3 clans left in the Heaven Old Super Realm, the Heaven Old Orcs and the Heaven Old Divine Race both still existed. Although the Turkish people were sealed, they were still alive and not exterminated. If the Tus were to be exterminated, then there would only be 2 suns left, and the energy here would be greatly reduced. This was also the reason why the people of Heaven Old Divine Race did not intend to exterminate the Tus. Then where is the Super Young Realm? Chen Shang was extremely curious, he never thought that there would actually be other strong races. These races were all as strong as the Heaven Old Divine Race, but he didn't know what their characters were like. This Super Yang Divine Altar can open a passage and connect two worlds, but this Super Yang Divine Altar is already damaged. Well-informed Ghost said, according to the memories I obtained, I mentioned that I would need some myriad Dao Divine Soil crystals to repair this broken Super Yang Divine Altar. Chen Shang looked at Song Yichen. Myriad Dao Divine Soil crystals, this is an extremely rare thing. Song Yichen carefully checked the Super Yang Divine Altar and found a few indented square on top of the Super Yang Divine Altar. There are a total of 9 squares. Do you need myriad Dao Divine Soil crystals of the same size to be placed inside? Song Yichen shook his head. It's very difficult to get hold of so many myriad Dao Divine Soil crystals. Chapter 3193. The well-informed Ghost only knew this much. It was unclear how he would obtain the myriad Dao Divine Soil crystal. Chen Shang told him to return to the Yuyao Mountain Villa. Brother Song, do we need to repair this Super Yang Divine Altar? Chen Shang asked. If there's a need, we can continue to tangle with the myriad Dao Divine Soil's crystals. I feel that it's necessary. Right now, the Heaven Old Divine race is at its peak. If we continue to wait, we will be exterminated sooner or later. At that time, they will also have a large number of myriad Dao Divine Soil. Song Yichen said, among the 9 Super Yang Divine races, I believe that we, the Turkish people, will be able to have myriad Dao Divine Soil in the future. Although we, the indigenous people, have it, we have not used it to make divine weapons. This should have been deliberately given to us by someone when we were distributing our resources. I guess, back then the strongest person in Super Yang Divine race had 9 sons, and in order for these 9 sons to not fight with each other, the patriarch must have made arrangements. This way, you don't have to worry about the myriad Dao Divine Soil being used to refine divine weapons, otherwise the consequences would be too scary. If you control the myriad Dao Divine Soil, you can easily annihilate the other races. Quote. It was not strange that Song Yichen had such a conjecture. It was because the two clans had always been instilled with the idea of not fighting. Our ancestors told us not to fight, but they never thought that we would be exterminated. He was too benevolent, and never thought that he would be bullied like this by his brother's descendants. Song Yichen said, right now, we are all about to have our clans exterminated, and we can already fully prove that our ancestors were wrong. Now, we cannot continue to be wrong. Although there were only 2 of them, Song Yichen was very ambitious. We must break through 2 realms and have the other races come over to restrain the Heaven Old Divine race. Otherwise, we will only be destroyed in the end. Song Yichen said, the people from the other clans will definitely need myriad Dao Divine Soil as well. At that time, we can give some to the myriad Dao Divine Soil and the others to trade with them. Chen Shang thought for a while, then said, I feel that it's better if we don't break your seal for a short period of time. You guys are safe in here, don't go out for now, just wait here for them to kill each other. But, I'm worried that they will join forces and enter this place to rob the myriad Dao Divine Soil. Quote. Song Yichen laughed, don't worry, as long as this ancient Super Yang Divine Altar can be repaired, we will not be afraid of them. If they dare to join hands, they will definitely pay a huge price. Chen Shang caressed this Super Yang Divine Altar, and once again released a very strong imposing manner, as if it was rejecting him. This guy, it can't be spiritual, right? Chen Shang laughed, Brother Song, try and see if you can communicate with this thing. It has existed for so many years, and it seems to be very intelligent. Song Yichen frowned as he thought, then took out a divine weapon. He cut his palm, and dripped a drop of blood on this Super Yang Divine Altar. After the blood had dripped onto it, it had already seeped into it, as if it had been sucked dry. It worked. Chen Shang shouted in shock, hurry and get one more point. All right. Song Yichen was also very excited. In front of us, when our clan's elders worship the divine altar, they would make us prepare a bowl of blood, and then pour it all into a pool on top of the divine altar. 3 days later, Song Yichen was no longer able to laugh, and his expression was currently extremely ugly. His blood had been sucked out greatly. Chen Shang had no choice but to take out some recovery pills. However, its effect was very strong, because Song Yichen's body was very powerful. It would not be easy for him to quickly recover his blood. I'll be able to recover after resting. I need time. Song Yichen sat on the ground. How about this, I'll get a time domain from your body. When Chen Shang finished, he immediately released the power of time to envelop Song Yichen. Song Yichen had stayed in Chen Zhang's time domain for a month and had already recovered to its peak. This super young divine altar had been neglected for a long time. Originally, the entire clan had needed to undergo a blood sacrifice, but with Song Yichen alone, it would naturally take a very long time. Chen Shang and Song Yichen had been stuck in here for more than a month, and Chen Shang had even used the dual time domain S to increase their speed. He had left Song Yichen alone inside the time domain for a few years and left a lot of blood inside, then poured it all over the super young divine altar. Song Yichen also could not remember how many years he had spent in the time domain before super young divine altar released a ray of sunshine. Finally alive, haha, super young divine altar suddenly heard a wretched laughter. From the sound of it, it should be from a man. Chen Shang thought it was the voice of an old man. Spirit of divine altar, Song Yichen anxiously shouted. Hee hee, fellow, I knew it when you came. I didn't expect you to be able to get so much blood in such a short time. The spirit of divine altar laughed. It's all thanks to the human ghost for using the power of time that we were able to move so quickly. Chen Shang curled his lips. Previously, the moment he touched the altar, it scared him, and it made him very unhappy. I touched you, why was your reaction so huge? Chen Shang was extremely curious, and couldn't help but ask. I'm not used to men touching me. If it's a beauty, feel free to touch me, ha 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 ha, spirit of divine altar laughed sinisterly. Chen Shang could not help but kick him twice. Song Yichen's face darkened. In his heart, the incredibly sacred spirit of divine altar was actually such a wretched person. Stupid bastard, why did you kick me? I'm very weak after all, you will need to use the myriad Tao divine soil crystal to heal me if I kick you to death. The spirit of divine altar scolded. It shouldn't be broken, you should be made from myriad Tao divine soil crystals. I really want to knock on a few of them to refine some of them. Chen Shang snorted. That's right, yours truly was refined using myriad Tao divine soil crystals. If you have the guts, come and knock a few pieces of it. Spirit of divine altar sneered, I don't think you have the ability. Don't question my strength. Chen Shang had already taken out the heavenly magic sword and the 6 realms mirrors. I'll try and see exactly how thick your skin is. Song Yichen anxiously stopped them. He knew how powerful Chen Zhang's heavenly magic sword was. If he really could knock down a few pieces, this super young divine altar would be even more heavily damaged. Spirit of divine altar, our people have already suffered from a calamity. Song Yichen carefully told the spirit of divine altar about the events that had transpired of the Turkish people. Serves you right. After the spirit of divine altar heard this, he scoffed, your ancestor was a fool. I told him to guard against those bastards long ago. Chapter 3194. Song Yichen was very helpless at the moment. He was relatively familiar with the matters of their people. Stoneman, the damage to your body is really strange. Chen Shang asked, why is there a lack of 9 squares? This must be man-made. If you were really made from myriad Tao divine soil crystals, then to be able to take so many pieces of your body, you must have used a very powerful godly weapon. Quote, isn't this the work of that stupid chief of the 2 clan? Spirit of divine altar scolded, back then that guy was tricked, so he took the most important 9 pieces of myriad Tao divine soil crystals from me. Without those 9 pieces of myriad Tao divine soil crystals, I would basically be a trash, and other than scaring me, I can't do anything else. Why did the old ancestor steal the myriad Tao divine soil crystals? Song Yichen asked. There were originally 9 of these ancient super young divine altars, and each clan had one was also used by the super young old ancestor to prevent their clans from killing each other. However, the other 8 races had teamed up together and found a way to break the rules. They destroyed all the ancient super young divine altar in their clan, then used it to rebuild their own clan and used it to acquire world-defying stage fierce power. At that time, I was the only one left in the ancient super young divine altar, and the patriarchs of the other 8 clans were worried that I would restrain them in the future, so they lied to your foolish patriarch and let him destroy me. Who asked him to be naturally honest? He was easily convinced, but he wasn't hopelessly stupid, so he only dug out 9 pieces of myriad Tao divine soil crystals from my body. Alright. Not long after they were dug up, the boundary was separated and they started to fight. You should know what happened after that, right? Chen Shang laughed. Stoneman, it seems like you are still strong after all, and those guys are actually so afraid of you. If I repair you, can you make the 2 realms fuse again? Quote. Of course it's okay, but the question is, can you get me back? This is extremely difficult, even the super young old ancestor would need a lot of time to get here. If it was you, then it would need even more time. The spirit of Divine Altar sighed. Isn't it just using myriad Tao Divine Soil crystals? How hard is it? Chen Shang did not think so. Aren't there a lot of myriad Tao Divine Soil? It shouldn't be hard to find myriad Tao Divine Soil crystals. You made it using myriad Tao Divine Soil crystals yourself, didn't it? Quote. Do you know that I am the strongest one among the 9 ancient Super Yang Divine Altars? Furthermore, in order to repair the 9 damaged parts on my body, I would need Crystal Emperor's as well. Spirit of Divine Altar said, it's easier to find ordinary myriad Tao Divine Soil crystals, but Crystal Emperor are different. Song Yichen's face was filled with despair. It could be seen how difficult the Crystal Emperor's were to him. Are myriad Tao Divine Soil crystals really that powerful? Chen Shang told Feng Ke to come out from Yuyao Mountain Villa. After Feng Ke appeared, the Spirit of Divine Altar chuckled. What a cute girl, I really want to pinch. If you don't have a hand, how are you going to pinch me? Feng Ke chuckled. Girl, you're not simple. We are of the same species. Spirit of Divine Altar laughed. If I recover, I can also run out. They were indeed of the same species. Feng Ke was a spirit born from the seal, and the Spirit of Divine Altar was also born from a divine altar. Ke, take out that needle of yours and let's see if it can pierce through. Chen Shang said, these are myriad Tao Divine Soil crystals, they should be very sturdy. Feng Ke took out her extremely powerful golden needle. Seeing the golden needle, Spirit of Divine Altar shouted, don't mess around, this needle will definitely pierce through my body. The majority of me were refined using myriad Tao Divine Soil crystals, and only the 9 places that were refined using myriad Tao Divine Soil crystals were used by Crystal Emperor's. I am very weak. Quote. Really, this golden needle is so powerful. Feng Ke also felt that it was unexpected. Very powerful, this golden needle is made from Tao creation materials, the materials used to create myriad Tao. How amazing are you? The Crystal Emperor of the myriad Tao Divine Soil crystal can't even take a single gentle needle from you. Spirit of Divine Altar immediately shouted, don't try to prick me again, I will hurt. Ah, Feng Ke exclaimed. She knew that her gold needle was very strong, she never thought that she would never hear of the materials used to refine it. Chen Shang was glad that he did not use his heavenly magic sword to try, otherwise, he would definitely be crippled. The golden needle in Feng Ke's hand was far more terrifying than he had imagined. Stone Man, I know how to refine pills, do you think I can refine Crystal Emperor's with the method of refining pills? Chen Shang asked. Well, if you know about heavenly alchemy, maybe you can. Spirit of Divine Altar said. Of course, if you want to comprehend the various pill refining methods of the heavenly alchemy, and master them, there might be hope. You know about the heavenly alchemy. Chen Shang was very surprised that the heavenly alchemy was actually so ancient. He already knew that the heavenly alchemy was a part of the myriad Tao's divine arts. Of course I know, it's from the myriad Tao divine arts. Spirit of Divine Altar said. Back then, Super Yang Old Ancestor used these cultivation techniques to refine the 9 suns, and Crystal Emperor's with myriad Tao Divine Soil crystals were extremely rare. What a coincidence, I know the myriad Tao technique. Chen Shang laughed. I am most familiar with the heavenly alchemy, I had a myriad Tao Divine Soil who refined this sword before. This sword was crafted using the myriad Tao Divine Soil. Is this really a material that you refined using the myriad Tao Divine Soil? Spirit of Divine Altar was very surprised, he did not expect to meet such a powerful human. I thought that humans who knew about heavenly alchemy had already become extinct. Spirit of Divine Altar exclaimed once again. I did die many times. Chen Shang laughed. Then tell me now, where I can obtain the myriad Tao Divine Soil's crystal, and at that time, I will be able to use the power of time to complete it faster, and you can recover faster. The myriad Tao Divine Soil's crystal was much stronger than the myriad Tao Divine Soil's crystal. Chen Shang felt that refining this kind of crystal into a divine artifact would be very good, although his current heavenly magic sword was already very strong, he hoped to be stronger. Okay, now we have to think it over. Spirit of Divine Altar was already getting serious. After being wasted for such a long time, he also wanted to recover his godly strength as soon as possible. This was a great opportunity. This area has a large number of myriad Tao Divine Soils. Initially, the other 8 races wanted to take over this area, but after a round of fighting, Heaven Old Divine Race and the rest successfully separated the other races into the Super Yang realm. Feng Shenxi said. The Spirit of Divine Altar said. Afterwards, they annihilated 2 more races. There were only 3 suns left here and now, the heaven-old divine race controls 2 suns. If I can recover, I can take back a new sun. Quote. Chapter 3195. Taking back a sun was a very important thing to the two clan. When Song Yichen heard about it, he was very excited, otherwise they would need to go to the heaven-old imperial palace to get back that new super young divine altar and take back the control of a new sun. The vertex says, Spirit of divine altar, if you recover, will the clan members who become Tiangu Beast recover as well? Song Yichen's heart ached whenever he thought of these clansmen, especially those huge clansmen. There was basically no chance for them to recover. I can't guarantee. I may only be able to recover some of my soul which has not been corroded. When the time comes, I will try my best to help you all. Spirit of divine altar said. If he wanted the ancient super young divine altar to recover its original strength, he would have to get the crystal emperor with the myriad Tao divine soil crystal. This was the only way. Now, only Chen Shang was able to accomplish it. This burden had fallen onto his shoulders, making him feel an extremely huge pressure, and he didn't know if he would succeed or not. Song Yichen had placed all her hopes on him. Don't worry, I will do my best. Chen Shang laughed. If I can recover the power of this boulder, I don't need to hide from the heaven-old divine race people anymore, I can just stay here safely. That's true. Even though I am the most ancient super young divine altar, I am actually very powerful. The super young old ancestor had invested a lot in me. Spirit of divine altar chuckled. Next, all you need to do is to go to the place where myriad Tao divine soil is and find a portion of the myriad Tao divine soil crystals, and then use these myriad Tao divine soil crystals to refine Crystal Emperor. I haven't seen myriad Tao divine soil crystals in many years. Is there really a place like that? Song Yichen asked. You'll know when you go look. I believe that you'll definitely find a large amount of myriad Tao divine soil crystals. Spirit of divine altar said, it's been many years since you've seen it, and this place is always sealed. No one has set foot in the area that myriad Tao divine soil is in for many years, so a large amount of myriad Tao divine soil crystals will definitely be born from within. Chen Shang had heard from Song Yichen that this area was extremely dangerous. If no Turkish people led them in, they would most likely be killed inside. Even the most powerful world-defying crazy realm rankers would be the same. Alright, I understand. Song Yichen nodded. It had been many years since he went to that place. After hearing what the Spirit of Divine Altar said, he felt that it was true. Just as Song Yichen and Chen Shang were discussing which direction to go, Spirit of Divine Altar suddenly spoke in a low voice, the heaven-old divine race is here, and they are very strong. There are 2 of them in total, quickly leave through the other path. Just as the Spirit of Divine Altar was done, a path appeared on one of the walls in the huge stone room. Spirit of Divine Altar, what about you? Will you be okay? Song Yichen was a little worried, because the Spirit of Divine Altar was still very weak, and this ancient super young divine altar was once again destroyed. Don't worry, I won't be destroyed that easily. The Spirit of Divine Altar urged them, hurry up and leave, otherwise if they come, you won't be able to leave. Song Yichen and Chen Shang anxiously rushed through the passage, and after they entered the passage, a door automatically closed. Following that, Chen Shang and Song Yichen also heard 2 loud laughs coming over through the stone wall. Haha, we finally found the super young divine altar from back then. It was the voice of an old man. Song Yichen and Chen Shang did not leave, they only had their ears pressed to the wall and could hear the voices coming from inside. The ancient super young divine altar is only mediocre. Big brother, look at the materials used to make this super young divine altar, they were actually made from myriad Tao divine soil crystals. Back then, super young old ancestor was too biased, he actually gave the best super young divine altar to this group of stupid natives. Don't worry, although this super young divine altar was refined using the myriad Tao divine soil crystal, the most important part of it has already been destroyed, and only the Crystal Emperor with the myriad Tao divine soil crystal can repair it. The big brother laughed and said, let's try and see if we can take this super young divine altar down. These myriad Tao divine soil crystals are enough for us to refine a set of equipment. I heard that the ancient super young divine altar in our clan was only refined using the myriad Tao divine soil, and this Turkish used the myriad Tao divine soil crystal. If it was recovered, wouldn't it be very powerful? Yes, this is the strongest super young divine altar. Back then, the other 8 clans also waited for this strongest super young divine altar to be destroyed before they attacked. Otherwise, even if the other 8 clans joined forces, they still wouldn't be able to eliminate the 2 clans. Roo. A series of explosions could be heard. The two elders had already started fighting. Chen Shang and Song Yichen were extremely worried that this super young divine altar would be destroyed. These fellows should all be world-defying crazy realms that are close to the peak. They can be considered powerful existences in the heaven-old divine race, if not they would not dare to come here on their own. Song Yichen sighed, I wonder if this super young divine altar will be taken down. Of course not, this super young divine altar would already be very powerful if he could still be here. It's not that easy to destroy him. Chen Shang said. The shockwave never stopped, and even after half a day, Chen Shang and Song Yichen still did not leave. Big brother, this thing is completely unharmed. We can't take it down at all. What should we do? An old man said, if we can't tear it down, then we will have to travel 100 times. I don't want to enter that damned place to retrieve my myriad Tao divine soil, it's too scary. Yes, the Tianghu beast here are also widely distributed, they cannot be hunted on a large scale, and to hunt the Tianghu beast, the fastest and safest way is to extract the myriad Tao divine soil from their beast hair, but this is also very difficult. That big brother sighed, previously, we planned to gather all of the Tianghu beast in this place and then control the humans in that place to help us kill them. We didn't expect that it would actually fail. The plan the heaven-old imperial family had in the divine wasteland was ruined. It was done by Chen Shang and Song Cheng in the morning. We need to go back and have more of our clan's experts come over to help. With our current strength, we cannot shake this ancient super young divine altar. This must be kept a secret, we must not let heaven-old orcs know, and we must not let anyone from the other factions know either. After the two brothers finished their discussion, they hurriedly left. Chen Shang and Song Yichen had to rush to the place where the myriad Tao divine soil was. They had to do their best to not delay any further, if not the two elders could call for strong helpers, and at that time, destroy the entire super young divine altar. In order to prevent such a thing from happening, Chen Shang and Song Yichen had to make the super young divine altar recover before they arrived. I wonder when they will arrive? Chen Shang asked while running frantically inside the tunnel. Chapter 3196. At this time, Song Yichen's heart was heavy. It was extremely difficult to obtain Crystal Emperor's for myriad Tao divine soil crystals, and he didn't know if he would be able to make it in time. It'll take at least a month. It'll take quite a bit of time for them to come back. In other words, Song Yichen said, in a month's time, are you able to refine the Crystal Emperor that has the myriad Tao divine soil crystal? Song Yichen knew that Chen Shang had the power of time, but even if he used time domain, he felt that he wouldn't be able to make it in time. It should be possible. Chen Shang was more confident in his own time domain. He was now a world-defying crazy realm, his world-defying stage fierce power was much stronger than before, he felt that he could use it smoothly while also being able to refine myriad Tao divine soil crystals. If he used the triple time field, he would be able to buy more time, which was why he was so sure. While still in the passage, Chen Shang used the power of space to carry Song Yichen up. How far is it from there? Do you want me to just directly use the power of teleportation to go over there? Chen Shang asked. No need. Entering that place is troublesome. Spatial force will be greatly restricted, so it's best not to use it. Song Yichen looked around, trying to determine his direction. It's right over here, we can just fly over there. I'm worried that if we teleport over there, we might encounter some unexpected situations. Song Yichen said. Alright, Chen Shang took out his 6 realms mirrors. The 6 realms mirrors quickly flew. Not long later, Chen Shang saw an extremely vast ocean of forests in front of him. This forest looked boundless, and the most unusual thing was that the forest's leaves were all pale gold. Chen Shang took a closer look and realized that the soil in the forest was all a light gold color. The myriad Tao divine soil was a light golden color. If he separated a pile of them, they would turn black, and after being burned by the flames, they would give off a light golden color. Is the soil of this forest all from myriad Tao divine soil? Chen Shang was dumbstruck, he did not dare believe what he had just seen, the soil under this golden forest was all from the myriad Tao divine soil. Yes, Song Yichen laughed, although there are many, we cannot take away too much, or else this land will become angry. The golden forest looked peaceful, without any signs of danger. Chen Shang knew that this was just an illusion. This forest had so many myriad Tao divine soil it definitely wasn't as simple as it looked. I'm going to start now. After Song Yichen finished, his body released a burst of faint golden light aura, enveloping the 6 realms mirrors. The 6 realms mirrors slowly flew over, and when it neared the forest, a huge light barrier suddenly appeared. The forest was actually enveloped by a very large barrier, and now that Chen Shang had successfully passed through the barrier. "It's not over yet," Song Yichen said. His body continued to release that faint golden light. It was even stronger than before. Very quickly, Chen Shang felt that they had passed through the second layer of the enchantment. How many layers are there exactly? Chen Shang took a deep breath. Every single enchantment was extremely terrifying, and if he was the only one, he felt that it would be impossible to enter. And Song Yichen seemed to have some sort of power that could not be stopped by this barrier and could enter without a hitch. There are a total of 9 spirit formations. These spirit formations are all called Sun Spirit formations. Right now, we have only passed through the second level. Song Yichen frowned. "I'm about to reach the third stage." It took a lot of energy for Song Yichen to release that kind of pale golden light, you could tell from his expression. Within 3,000 meters of this forest, there were actually 9 such powerful enchantments. It could be seen how protective the super young old ancestor was of this place back then. If your clansmen had hidden here, then nothing would have happened. Chen Shang said. "Yes, but they won't dare because there is a rule in the clan that no one is allowed to enter here. Otherwise, they will be punished by the forest god," Song Yichen said. "The name of this forest is Sun God Forest, and we usually only enter once at a certain time." Very quickly, the 6 realms mirrors passed through the 9-layered sun barriers and entered the Sun God Forest. After entering, Chen Shang immediately descended to the ground. He then grabbed a handful of soil and scrutinized it carefully. As expected, it's myriad Tao divine soil, and there's so much of it, it's like an ocean. Now, Chen Shang understood why the other 8 races were allying together to eliminate this divine soil race. They were very envious of the divine soil race, with so many of them and not knowing how to make use of them, it was practically taking advantage of them. He also understood even more clearly why the spirit of divine altar scolded the divine soil race as an idiot. If the divine soil race only took a small portion of the myriad Tao divine soil S here to refine a large amount of powerful godly weapons, he would not have ended up like today. "Brother Song, didn't we discover the elders from the heaven old divine race down there? They got the myriad Tao divine soil of Zudu, how did they manage to get in?" Chen Shang was very curious about this. He had personally witnessed the power of the 9-layer sun barrier. They are, after all, the experts from back then. They must have expended a lot of effort to obtain it. But, aren't they only able to get one? Song Yichen said. To this forest, a myriad Tao divine soil that was tens of thousands of kilograms was indeed only one. How are we going to find the myriad Tao divine soil's crystal? Chen Shang looked at the endless sea of trees and felt a headache. There shouldn't be any danger in here, right? It's safe inside, it's just that it will be more troublesome to enter. If anyone else enters without sufficient strength, they might not even be able to survive. Song Yichen said, "You can leave it at that." Chen Shang nodded, and then released many heaven-devouring rats. These heaven-devouring rats scuttled around everywhere, searching for the myriad Tao divine soil's crystal. It's impossible to drill into the ground. Chen Shang tried it. These heaven-devouring rats were unable to dig a hole in the ground. It was mainly because the myriad Tao divine soil S here had already solidified and were extremely sturdy. Although the heaven-devouring rats were strong, they were unable to dig a hole. Chen Shang let the heaven-devouring rat search the ground for a long time, but was unable to find anything. The myriad Tao divine soil crystals should be deep underground. Chen Shang guessed. It was also based on his years of experience with the genius treasures. It's not easy to dig a hole here. Song Yichen also tried it himself. Don't bother with the heaven-devouring rat, even he had a hard time digging out a hole. This was an extremely difficult task, and it was the only way. They had no choice but to dig it out. Chen Shang was a lot better, because his heavenly magic sword was created using the myriad Tao divine soil S. After being refined, it was much more powerful than the myriad Tao divine soil S that had not been refined before, so it was relatively easier to dig out. Chapter 3197. Song Yichen was stronger than Chen Shang, but he did not have the to refine the divine tool, so compared to Chen Shang, he had a lot more work to do. Chen Shang, there are so many myriad Tao divine soil S here, can you use the myriad Tao divine soil S here to make a shovel for me? Song Yichen laughed bitterly. Using the myriad Tao divine soil to forge a shovel was just to dig a hole. If the old refiner above the myriad Tao knew about this, he would definitely spurt a mouthful of blood and spit Song Yichen to death. Chen Shang also thought that it was kind of funny. He thought for a while, then said, "Let Ke refine for you." Feng Ke had also eaten a lot of strong strength Dan in the Yuyao Mountain Villa. Her current world-defying stage fierce power was still very strong, and she herself only knew how to refine equipment. Chen Shang felt that it shouldn't be difficult for her to refine a shovel. When Feng Ke came out of Yuyao Mountain Villa and saw with his own eyes how many myriad Dao divine soil there were, he could not help but be shocked again. There are as many myriad Dao divine soil here as there are sand. Feng Ke laughed, there are so many that I don't have any place to put them. But the others are all fighting over the myriad Dao divine soil. Feng Ke picked up the myriad Dao divine soil that Chen Shang dug out, and laughed. Back then, Chen Shang this guy also used a lot of time to create a few myriad Dao divine soil and only refined this sword. That's right, Chen Shang looked at all of these myriad Dao divine soil, and was already numb to it. He had already packed all of the myriad Dao divine soil he dug out into the Yuyao Mountain Villa, so Song Yichen had no objections. "Ka, how long do you need to make a shovel?" Song Yichen asked. "It will take at least a month." Feng Ka thought about it and said, "How about this, I will use the dual time domain. That way, as long as we wait outside for one day, it will take you 30 months to refine 30 shovels." Chen Shang said. "All right." When Feng Ka entered the Yuyao Mountain Villa, he released a time domain for her alone. Chen Shang wanted so many spades to give to the mouse man. After a day, Feng Ka had successfully refined 30 shovels, all made from myriad Dao divine soil. Because the most important part was digging, she had refined them roughly, but it was very useful. Song Yichen was digging very happily right now. Originally wanted to use the world-defying stage fierce power to continuously attack and create a deep pit, but it was simply impossible. These myriad Dao divine soil already possessed the ability to quickly absorb the world-defying stage fierce power, so even if he and Song Yichen combined a punch on the ground, the entire ground would not tremble at all, and the world-defying stage fierce power would be completely absorbed by the large number of myriad Dao divine soil. There's no way we can continue digging like this. 20 to 30 mouse man and Song Yichen had already dug a huge hole that was 300 meters deep. What surprised him was that, 300 meters below him, it was still the myriad Dao divine soil. "Keep digging." Song Yichen rested for a while, they had no choice but to continue, they had only been in the forest for 2 days. They dug for another few hundred feet, and suddenly they found ordinary rock and soil. It was no longer the myriad Dao divine soil level, and it was only about as thick as 300 feet. "Mother CKER, we dug for nothing." Song Yichen scolded, and then flew up. "At the very least, I got quite a few myriad Dao divine soil Chen Shang shook his head and laughed bitterly. At this time, he and Song Yichen were sitting beside the deep pit, discussing how to find the myriad Dao divine soil crystal. "Elder brother Shen, I heard that there is a very special kind of tree outside that grew from the myriad Dao divine soil. We want to go out and take a look," Zhang Sijing said from the Yuyao Mountain Villa. "Sure." Chen Shang immediately let the two sisters out. Zhang Saihua and Zhang Lisi were rather free in there, because they could condense divine pellets when they were resting. These divine pellets were for themselves, or perhaps Feng Ka. On the other hand, the two Mei Jing sisters were not in a rush. They were taking care of all kinds of ingredients and teaching the two elixir spirit cores, Zhang Saihua and Zhang Lisi. They were alchemists with an extremely high innate talent in alchemy, and had been born with special alchemy skills. Seeing a pair of beautiful twin sisters come out, Song Yichen secretly despised Chen Shang for hiding such a beauty. "Hello, brother Song," they greeted Song Yichen very politely. "Hello everyone." Song Yichen laughed, Chen Shang really knows how to enjoy life. Pa, they are just my friends, don't think too much." Chen Shang said. "They are extremely proficient in medicinal herbs, I want them to come out and take a look at the trees here." Having interacted with plants and flowers all year round, they already possessed an ability to communicate with plants. This was something that many people did not have. Mei Jing's sisters looked at a big tree, gently caressed it, and then closed his eyes. "Chen Shang, was this sword refined by K'er?" Song Yichen asked. He also wanted one, and one that was refined using myriad Dao divine soil crystals, this would greatly increase his strength. "No, it's a guy called Chen Kai. He was born from the Heaven Old Orcs and the Heaven Old Divine race." Chen Shang said. "What a pitiful guy, but he knows how to refine and his future is not too bad. Moreover, He should have understood this since he was born, and is considered a talent in the heaven-old divine race. It's a pity that the heaven-old divine race won't accept him. Song Yichen had a rather good understanding of the heaven-old divine race. Yes, that's why he appeared inside the divine wasteland with heaven-old orcs and met me afterwards. Chen Shang laughed. Elder brother Shen, we found something. Jiang Sime suddenly shouted. What discovery? Chen Shang was shocked. She anxiously walked over, with Song Yichen following closely behind. There is something under the big tree. These trees can absorb the nutrients in the myriad Dao divine soil and then condense something in the middle of the tree roots. Zhang Sijing said, that thing should be the myriad Dao divine soil crystal that you were looking for. Chen Shang looked at Song Yichen and asked, is that possible? Have you ever dug these trees before? Quote. Song Yichen frowned. I really never dug up a tree before, but these trees have grown for a long time, they are all gold, I think it's possible. There's no need to dig out the tree and have K.R. refine a hollow tube. Just insert the heart into the bottom of the tree root and take that thing out. Jiang Sime said, this way, it won't cause any damage to the big tree. In this place, Chen Shang was unable to use the power of space, so he could not retrieve items through the air, so he could only use normal methods. Feng Ka very quickly refined a very large pipe, big enough to fit inside a watermelon. Where? Chen Shang looked at Mei Jing's sisters and the others and asked, can you guys determine the exact location? Chen Shang couldn't see it even if he used the Dao Heart Eye, and he didn't dare to randomly insert it either. He was worried that he would destroy these big trees, since these big trees could condense myriad Dao divine soil crystals. Chapter 3198. Jiang Sime was also afraid that she would destroy the big trees if she wanted to. It would not be easy for these big trees to grow to this extent. If she destroyed them, she would feel pain in her heart. After all, this was not an ordinary tree, but a very unique type of tree. A slant against a slant, a slant against a slant. Chen Shang asked Jiang Sime to carry it out. She had previously communicated with the big tree before and knew where the mysterious thing was. Then, she said to Chen Shang, try and see if you can get an heaven-devouring rat to take out the thing inside. It's not very big, so the heaven-devouring rat should be able to take it out. Chen Shang released a heaven-devouring rat and had it enter the big tree from the pipe. Then, he made the heaven-devouring rat's eyes emit a white light, illuminating the inside of the tree. Soon enough, he saw a black object. He quickly asked the heaven-devouring rat to take it out. The black crystal was not really that big, it was only the size of a thumb. Brother Song, are these myriad Dao divine soil crystals? The moment Chen Shang took it out, Song Yichen puzzledly frowned. He was not very sure, or else he would have recognized him a long time ago. After Song Yichen received it, he took a careful look at it, then shook his head and said, I'm sure. If you want to confirm whether or not this is a myriad Dao divine soil crystal, you can only try with your sword. How do you want to test it? Chen Shang asked. Let's see if we can cut it open. If we can't, then this is the myriad Dao divine soil crystal. Song Yichen said, all of the myriad Dao divine soil crystals I have seen before are light gold, but this piece is black. Chen Shang placed the black crystal on the ground. He tried using the heavenly magic sword and was unable to cut it off easily. It seems that these are myriad Dao divine soil crystals without a doubt. Chen Shang laughed. He did not dare to continue trying, and was worried that the heavenly magic sword would break. Song Yichen was also relieved, and laughed, I've finally found it. I didn't expect it to be under the big tree. There are so many big trees here, there should be a lot of myriad Dao divine soil crystals. K.R., go get it with Sijing and Mei Mei. I'll try to refine this myriad Dao divine soil crystal here. After Chen Shang finished, he said to Song Yichen again, Big brother Song, go and protect them. Alright, only the Mei Jing sisters and the rest were able to confirm the location of the myriad Dao divine soil crystal. Now that he had their help, they would be able to search for the myriad Dao divine soil crystal much faster. Chen Shang took out the Tianchuang furnace, placed the piece of myriad Dao divine soil crystal inside, and then released the most powerful, arrogant flame to refine. He was already able to use a large amount of world-defying stage fierce power to condense the proud flame, and his flames were much stronger than the previous world-defying god fire. This thing isn't easy to melt. Chen Shang had burned inside the time domain for more than 10 days and the myriad Dao divine soil crystal was only the layer of black on its surface. He burned for another half a month, a total of 1 month, but there was no progress. When he came out of the time domain, it was already dark outside. Mei Jing's sisters, Feng Ke and Song Yichen were all looking at him. Chen Shang shook his head, then took out that piece of pale golden myriad Dao divine soil crystal from the Tianchuang furnace, and said, "You have consecutively burned it for a month, but this piece of myriad Dao divine soil crystal is still ice cold." He threw the myriad Dao divine soil crystal to Song Yichen. After Song Yichen received it from him, he sighed helplessly. Myriad Dao divine soil crystals are just like this, it's extremely difficult to refine, and they already possess an extremely strong defensive power. It's probably because your flames are unable to break through its defense, causing it to be unable to heat up. Chen Shang nodded her head. That's exactly the case, the myriad Dao divine soil crystal has a very, very strong defensive power. It is not afraid of fire or ice. If it is used to refine protective divine armor, no one would dare imagine. The myriad Dao divine soil crystal was already that powerful. How could the crystal emperor inside the myriad Dao divine soil crystal be so powerful? What Chen Shang admired was that super young old ancestor actually used myriad Dao divine soil crystals to build a super young divine altar. Spirit of divine altar, what you can refine, isn't he capable of refining as long as he can control the heavenly alchemy? Song Yichen said, "Think carefully, is there any other possibility?" Chen Shang nodded. He had tried many different types of refining methods in the time domain, but none of them were able to break the defense of the myriad Dao divine soil crystal. How many myriad Dao divine soil crystals did you manage to get? Chen Shang asked. Over $1,000. Zhang Sime said, there are still a lot left. I wonder if 1,000 pieces is enough. I don't know. After you all have rested, go and continue mining for myriad Dao divine soil crystals. I will think about it carefully myself and see how I can refine it. Chen Shang said, and then entered the time domain. They needed to fix that super young divine altar before he returned. Only by doing this would they be able to escape. If not, the heaven-old divine race would be able to increase their power by a lot, which was something that Chen Shang and the rest did not want to see. Is there really no other way? Chen Shang slapped his head. He could not think of any way. If he wanted to use the myriad Dao divine soil crystals to refine Crystal Emperor, he had to first melt all the myriad Dao divine soil crystals, and then compress a large amount of energy like how he used to concoct pills, causing the quality of the crystals to continuously improve, and finally reach a limit. This was the thought process of him refining the Crystal Emperor, but right now, he could not cross over the first step, and could not advance at all. Is my flame not strong enough? Chen Shang frowned. His flames were condensed using the world-defying stage fierce power, and Song Yichen's flames before were strong as well. However, he felt that if he could condense such a flame, wouldn't that mean that anyone could use the world-defying stage fierce power to condense it? Then this kind of flame should be very ordinary. It can even be condensed by a person from the world-defying crazy realm. Truly powerful flames should be very difficult to condense. Looks like I have to find Spirit of Divine Altar to ask. Chen Shang came out from the time domain. Brother Song, looks like we need to stop immediately. I need to go back and find the Spirit of Divine Altar. Chen Shang said, I feel that my flames aren't strong enough, I need to think of a way to level up. Alright, Song Yichen said as he nodded his head. Chen Shang let the Mei Jing sisters and the others enter the Yuyao Mountain Villa and then left the Sun God Forest with Song Yichen. After returning to the stone room where the ancient Super Yang Divine Altars were, Chen Shang immediately asked the Spirit of Divine Altars inside. Stone Golem, my flame isn't strong enough. How can I raise it? After Chen Shang asked this question, he kicked Super Yang Divine Altar twice. Chapter 3199. Spirit of Divine Altar needed Chen Zhang's help, so he was more polite. Although he had been kicked twice, he could only groan lightly. I didn't expect your flame to be so weak. When Spirit of Divine Altar saw the flame that Chen Shang had released, he said in disdain, I had thought that you had mastered the heavenly alchemy and possessed a pretty good fire-refining divine art yourself. I used to have it, but that was only for cultivating world-defying god fire. I didn't cultivate world-defying stage fierce soul. Chen Shang said, do you have any cultivation techniques related to this? I don't have a cultivation method, but I do have a method to help you cultivate a strong flame. It's also faster. Spirit of Divine Altar said, that's right, it's just troublesome. What kind of trouble? Song Yichen said, it shouldn't be difficult, right? Could it be that it's not that difficult? The reason it's so troublesome is because you need to set up a huge array and you need to use myriad Dao Divine Soil crystals to set it up. In total, it requires more than 3,000 myriad Tao Divine Soil crystals. Spirit of Divine Altar said, after the formation is set up, when the Great Formation is activated, those myriad Tao Divine Soil crystals will become useless. What are the benefits of setting up a great array? Chen Shang asked Feng Ke to come out. This was what Feng Ke was most familiar with. The main purpose of setting up this great formation is to condense the Sun-Fire seed from the 3 suns. After condensing the Sun-Fire seed, then, the Sun-Fire seed will go to the world-defying stage Soul River above Myriad Tao to search for the Flame Madness Soul. If you fuse the Fire seed with a Fire Madness Soul, and then fuse with this Fire seed, then the Fire seed will belong to you. Spirit of Divine Altar said, only Super Young Old Ancestor knows how to set up this great formation, he was the one who taught me to do so. After Chen Shang heard this, he felt that this method would work. This isn't a problem, just tell Ke the method of setting up the formation. Chen Shang looked at Feng Ke and said, alright, little girl, I will pass on the memories of the formation to you right now. The Spirit of Divine Altar suddenly flashed with a ray of light aura, and the light aura entered Feng Ke's body. Did you see that? Spirit of Divine Altar asked. I saw it. Feng Ke nodded, it is indeed troublesome. However, this is not a problem. Quote, you guys can settle it yourselves. I believe that you will definitely succeed. Spirit of Divine Altar said, however, if the Tinder array is activated, no matter what movement it makes, the other races would definitely discover it. Regardless of them, as long as Chen Shang possesses strong enough flames, he will be able to quickly refine Crystal Emperor S. At that time, as long as this ancient Super Yang Divine Altar is restored, there is nothing for us to be afraid of. Song Yichen said. After returning to the Sun God Forest, Feng Ke told Chen Shang to give her the 3,000 Mouse Man S, and allow her to control them. She wanted them to be used to set up a formation, so the formation would be bigger when the time comes. Song Yichen found an empty space in the Sun God Forest, which was where he had set up the array. Mei Jing's sisters went to get the myriad Tao Divine Soil crystals, so he needed a lot of them to set up the array. Every day, they were able to get 1,000 myriad Tao Divine Soil crystals. In just 2 days, they managed to get more than 2,000, and adding the previous 1,000, it was already enough to set up the formation. I'll have to trouble you guys next. Chen Shang said. I'm fine. Jiang Sime stuck out his tongue at Chen Shang. Little sister and I have nothing to do anyway. Chen Shang came to that spacious area and asked, how long will it take for the arrangements to be completed? It will be completed in 2 days. Feng Ke laughed, with the help of these mouse man, I can relax a lot. Right, when the time comes, you will need to sit in the center of the formation, and you will also need to bleed. Feng Ke said, at this time, she had already dug out many lines in the vast space, these were all spirit grain, it was extremely complicated. These myriad Tao Divine Soil crystals were placed evenly on the pattern. When Feng Ke was digging, she controlled several mouse man S to dig together, so she could complete it quickly. If she had enough shovels, she could dig even faster. The main reason was that this place was the myriad Tao Divine Soil, and only by using the shovel forged by the myriad Tao Divine Soil could one easily dig out this place. Alright, after Feng Ke finished placing the myriad Tao Divine Soil crystals inside, he clapped his hands. She had a total of 3 days. It's your turn, bleed. Feng Ke said, I need your blood, the Sun-Fire seed that I condense will be under your control, and only then will it fuse with you. How much blood do I need to bleed? Chen Shang asked. Just fill up the patterns here, and let your blood fill up the spirit grain here. Feng Ke laughed, this is not easy. Chen Shang swallowed his saliva. A few days had passed and Chen Zhang's blood had finally covered all of the spirit grain S. If it was only him, he would not have been able to complete it so quickly. Next, you need to sit in the middle. Feng Ke said. There was a place in the array for him to sit cross-legged. After Chen Shang floated over, he asked, what's next? After that, you will insert the world-defying stage fierce power and use it to revive the entire array. Feng Ke said. Chen Shang closed his eyes and sent out waves after waves of world-defying stage fierce power, allowing this wave of world-defying stage fierce power to cover all the spirit grain and wake the entire array. Very quickly, the black-colored myriad Tao Divine Soil crystals inside the large formation released a faint golden light aura, and the black color on the surface disappeared. Furthermore, the blood Chen Shang previously released had already become golden. The spirit grain in the big array had already turned into a dazzling golden light, which was extremely beautiful. What's next? Chen Shang asked again. Next up, just wait for the spark to appear in your divine sense see. Feng Ke said. After that, we will need Huaku and Dan, because at that time, your mind will need to head to world-defying stage Soul River. Zhang Saihua had already condensed quite a few arrogant core inside, so he did not need to worry about this. 2 hours after the great array opened, the 3 suns in the sky began to emit rays of light that were like golden clouds that were sucked into the array. If one were to look from a distance, they would see the 3 suns emit rays of light that shot into the ground, converging together in one place. Inside Heaven Old Imperial Palace, a gold-robed elderly stood on top of a tall tower, looking at the 3 threads released by the 3 suns, his brows knitted together. Emperor, you saw it right. An old man flew up from below and landed behind Heaven Old Emperor. I saw it, the legendary Tinder array, I didn't expect it to not be lost. From the direction, it should be the direction of the Divine Soil Restricted Area, what exactly happened inside? The Heaven Old Emperor coldly said, who else knows about this great formation? What is the purpose of activating this great formation? Quote, I don't know. In short, many unforeseen events occurred in the Divine Soil Restricted Area. As far as I know, previously, the people from Moon King went in there and made a huge discovery. As for what was discovered, I don't know. The old man said. Hurry up and investigate. The Heaven Old Emperor snorted in anger. Moon King and his group of people are actually sneaking around under my nose. Chapter 3200. Chen Shang and the others knew that the commotion would be huge, so they were already mentally prepared. Fortunately, they were inside the Sun God Forest, so they didn't need to worry about people disturbing them. Chen Shang, are you alright? Feng Ke asked from outside the great array. No, everything is fine. Chen Shang was so huge, that he could only feel a warm energy flood into his body from all directions, and then enter the Divine Sense CS. How long will it last? Song Yichen asked. Only Feng Ke knew about this formation. 1 day, 2 days, or even 3 days is possible. Feng Ke shook his head. I'm not too sure either. In short, I'll finish it in a few days. After 2 days, the golden light released by the Tinder array became weaker and weaker. Chen Shang could already see that within his own divine sense see, there was a fire elemental that was jumping around. The prideful sword soul within the world-defying mad source bead was also trembling. It was unknown whether or not it was welcoming this new partner of his. Success. I need to go to the world-defying stage Soul River. After Chen Shang saw that sun appear successfully, he immediately felt that his fire seed had already been completed. Just when he was about to divide his attention to go to the world-defying stage Soul River, he felt that his fire seed already had a very close relationship with him. What? Chen Shang was shocked. After he connected with the fire seed, he actually sensed that there was something flying out from the fire seed. This fire elemental actually knew how to go to the world-defying stage Soul River to search for the world-defying stage Fierce Soul. At this time, even though the great formation had dimmed down, it was still in operation, because the myriad Tao Divine Soil crystals were all flashing with light. Since the fire seed can search for the world-defying stage Fierce Soul itself, there's no need for me to worry. Chen Zhang's mind followed the release of the fire spirit that was released by the fire seed. He could see how fast the fire spirit was. That light was world-defying stage Fierce Soul on the 3rd floor of the world-defying stage Soul River. It could easily fuse with this world-defying stage Fierce Soul. Chen Zhang's divine sense sea burst with light as the intense sunlight shined down onto every corner of the divine sense sea. The fire seed had already successfully merged with the world-defying stage Fierce Soul, and was slowly fusing with Chen Shang. In just half a day, he had completed the fusion process. This process did not make Chen Shang feel any pain. Everything went extremely smoothly, and was much easier than he had imagined. The myriad Tao Divine Soil crystals have turned to ash. Although Feng Ke knew about it, he couldn't help but be surprised. He said, these myriad Tao Divine Soil crystals are all extremely sturdy, but they have turned into ashes now. Chen Shang also saw this and nodded. Quick, take a look at your flame and see if it has risen in rank. Song Yichen asked anxiously. He had never seen any strong flames before. He thought that the flames condensed from the world-defying stage Fierce power were strong enough. Chen Shang opened his palm and released a ball of flame. The ball of fire began to flicker extremely violently, and the light it released was as dazzling as the noon sun, and it could not be stared at for too long. This is the Sun Madness Fire. Feng Ke exclaimed. At this moment, she was already sweating profusely, and so was Song Yichen, but when the firelight shot over, they only felt that their skin was extremely hot. If they did not use the world-defying stage fierce power to block the scorching heat from entering their bodies, they would definitely feel extremely uncomfortable. Chen Shang immediately kept the flames. He was very excited in his heart. He knew that obtaining this kind of sun madness fire would greatly increase his strength. That's great, I should be able to quickly refine the Crystal Emperor next. Chen Shang said blissfully. Mei Jing sisters had been taking myriad Dao divine soil crystals from the tree roots for the past few days, and they had given Chen Shang over 3,000. Chen Shang brought Feng Ke and found a quiet place before releasing the time domain. Triple time field. After Chen Shang released the triple time field, he stayed inside for 75 years. Outside, he only spent 1 day. He knew, even if he had the flames that could melt myriad Dao divine soil crystals, it would still take a very long time to refine a Crystal Emperor. It was definitely not easy, otherwise the super young old ancestor would have refined more than just 9 of them. It was refined, but it was also not easy. Chen Shang took a month to melt a piece of myriad Dao divine soil crystal. Then, he placed more than 1,000 pieces of myriad Dao divine soil crystals into the Tianchuang furnace and released his strongest sun madness fire to be burned. Although sun madness fire were very strong, they did not consume too much energy, and that was only 1 more than when he was using the world-defying stage fierce power to release the proud flame. If he consumed too much energy, he only needed to eat the strong strength Dan to recover. How many can I absorb from 1,000 earth crystals? Feng Ke asked. I don't know. Chen Shang shook his head. I'll just try it and see. Since I'm using the triple time field now, there won't be any pressure. Chen Shang took a total of more than 20 years to finish refining it, and even when he thought about it, he felt that it was not easy. Right now, it has only been refined. Next up, I have to merge it together. Chen Shang said to Feng Ke, I'll be troubling you for the rest. When fusing with it, one would have to fuse together all of these melted large amounts of earth crystal solutions and compress them into a square block. Chen Shang also did not know whether Feng Ke would succeed or not. Feng Ke did not disappoint him, and her fusion speed was very fast. No, even if it is compressed into a square, it cannot become a Crystal Emperor. You need to derive it once. Feng Ke said, just 9 more crystals will be enough. Alright, Chen Shang tossed and turned for a few more years, creating 9 more crystals before using flames to melt them all, only then did he allow them to fuse together. It took 20 or 30 years to melt. Afterwards, Feng Ke and Chen Shang immediately teamed up and compressed it into a square block, which could just happen to be placed inside the Super Yang Divine Altar's square block. I've finally succeeded. Chen Shang looked at the crystal that looked like it was bursting with sunlight, and wiped his sweat. It was really not easy, using 70 years. This thing should not be easy to melt. It seems that even if you have a lot of them, it will still be difficult to use them for weapon crafting. Feng Ke said. Yes, but it's just that I can't do it now. I'll definitely think of a way to use Crystal Emperor to create 2 new heavenly magic sword. When Chen Shang took this piece of crystal out, it was unexpectedly extremely cold. Let me touch it. Feng Ke took it and played with it. It's beautiful, as if it was holding a square sun. You even want to make 8 of these things. Chen Shang laughed bitterly. This meant that he had to refine Crystal Emperor S for the next few hundred years.